Tony done. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Dave Happy Smiley Canales has a plan, and it doesn't mean that Bryce Young needs to be fixed. Dan Morgan wants to pick BPA, and the franchise tag is not off the table. Part of his plan is Ike Ekwonu at left tackle going forward. Hey, you know what's not happy, Smiley? Panthers ticket prices going up. Can you believe that? But boy, will you smile when you see Cam Newton throwing around some would-be attackers like some ragdolls. It's a happy, smiley C3 Panthers podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. It's upbeat, the Dave Canales style. Man, we're going to have your calls and more, and I do it each and every week with my wheelman, Cody Lack. What's up, my friend?
Tony Dunn, we got a bunch of good information out of Dan Morgan and Dave Canales today. We know that they're looking at extensions for Luvu. They're going to talk with Brian Burns' agent. They even mentioned Derek Brown as someone who might be in order for an extension. They talked about the offense. They talked about running the ball. They talked about their strategy at 33. Tony, it might be the dead time of the year for us Panthers, but such a time does not exist for C3 Panther Nation, baby. We're going to do it with the best fans in all of YouTube. You know them and love them. It's our boy Panther Pickle, Bill Cravens, Diesel Skills. What's up, brother? Doug Reader, Jake the Snake FU, Ken Jermaine, Panther Gal 73, Terica Dukes, Tim Estes, Tony Dunn. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
Happy Smiley Dave Canales says he doesn't have a ton of emotional investment to the roster, CK, so he's coming in with a very objective eye. But I know you had to be a little frowny facey when you saw that Panther ticket prices were going up.
Yeah, with not much to justify it. I'm a PSL owner. Many people may not realize that, and so when you saw that was the case, you know, you almost kind of hope for a bad season if you're thinking about trying to plan to buy a PSL because your thoughts are it's going to be cheaper to get entry level. But no, somehow it continues to go up, and there's not a lot of explanation as to why, other than just simple greed, which is the purpose of why David Tepper owned the football team. So he can do what he feels like is best for the team, but I'll tell you what, most people have their eyes a little tilted trying to figure out what in the heck's going on with that.
Corporate greed at its finest. Hey, I'm a capitalist in so many ways, but as the NFL signed a $11 billion deal in 2021 for the TV rights, has only expanded and built upon that TV deal with streaming to Peacock, to Amazon, and the money is just a flowing. I mean, record profits for the NFL, but no holding back. They sound like, you know what, is they must have been watching that CNBC interview with the Kellogg's CEO who says people should eat more cereal for dinner to save money. I say, what? You know how expensive cereal is? I've got three kids, dude. We go through cereal. That shit is expensive. But what's free is your conversation, your calls, 252-228-5098. You know, it's also free to smash the thumbs up button, subscribe, and tell a friend about the longest running Panthers podcast around. Maybe you would consider being generous and becoming a C3 super fan for $1.99 a month. Small donation, cheaper than cereal. Cody Lack, let's jump into this show. Man, Cam Newton. The NFL Combine, the Tonight Show is this. NFL Combine ignites as Cam Newton fights. You know, I kind of almost forgot the Combine was this week. I woke up this morning and all the interviews are coming out. I peeked at the schedule. It's right here. The underwear Olympics are here. where now we drool, we salivate over these strong, beautiful men as they run fast, jump high, catch, and then none of them get drafted by the teams that people think they're going to be. The Carolina Panthers don't pick till 33, but I heard there could be some interest for teams in that 33rd pick. Cody, like, what we got tonight? Where are we starting?
Yeah, well, listen, we're going to talk about a ton tonight. Of course, we're going to talk about Cam Newton and his continued terrible luck with these punk-ass little kids, man. But first, we're going to talk about something that is off the football field that is related to the Panthers. And, Tony, you already mentioned it. Even though we were the worst team in the NFL last year, if you're a Panther fan, you're going to be expecting to pay 4% more for your Carolina Panthers tickets. What are we doing, man? David Tepper, you're killing us. What I mean, is it, Tony, is this just the nature of the business that every year, especially because of increases to the salary cap that we're going to talk about a little bit later,
It doesn't have anything to do with it.
Of the business, or why is it going up and up like this for a team that doesn't win football games at all?
It's going up and up right now because people continue to pay.
That's it.
Right. I mean, and the sad part about this is I don't truly, I mean, and we'd have to like get in the books for these teams, but do we really believe the vast majority of their income comes from the game tickets and the beer sales? I think that they make even more money from the TV deals and things like this. Now, well, add to this, sports gambling is becoming legal in North Carolina, March 11th. These guys, the cash is rolling in, but you know what? It is the capitalist mantra, more juice from the squeeze. Let's get every dollar, every penny out of every fan possible until, there's a recession in some cases.
Yeah.
But the NFL is not lacking money. These are the whole things, is all of these prices go up, all of these corporations, these companies are making a ton of money.
Yeah.
It's not like this is like the margins got thinner here. And the salary cap going up doesn't affect David Tepper's bottom line one iota. What it means is he's making more money. The NFL is making more money as a whole.
Right. Well, I mean, the NFL from top to bottom is making more money than they thought they were. And my whole point is that the salary cap, it went up much farther than anyone thought that they were going to the point where all teams have more money to spend. And
so what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty shit.
Hey, yo.
What the fuck is happening, dude? Did you do that?
No.
I didn't do that.
Anyway. Dude, maybe a ghost didn't want me to talk and was just,
you know what? It's the NFL CIA or the NFL is trying to like,
they're
what
watching us, boys.
What profits? What money? The thing though is that the Carolina Panthers are just one of 26 teams where ticket prices have gone up for sure.
Yeah,
there might be two more teams. It is interesting though, is like, man, the messaging here. Did they have to do it? Could you have given somebody a year?
I didn't even think about the gambling thing until you brought it up. Like, and it's the money is up for everyone.
And it's going to be massive.
If it's Panther fans or if it's fans from another team packing Bank of America Stadium, it still equals more money in the pockets of David Tepper. So it's probably just a part of the business, huh?
And that's the nature of this PSL thing too, is that it's the genius move of Jerry Richardson having this be the case, because the way that they've built it is, if you don't want your season tickets, you don't have to buy season tickets, but the investment you made on the PSL is gone if you do. So you're basically held captive to the decision to actually purchase those season tickets regardless of the price. And so it's a business model that guarantees money, because there might be some people that are willing to let it go, but the vast majority of these people who are PSL owners are going to hold on to that because that's almost an investment. Unfortunately, here you have the situation when you're being taken advantage of by a billionaire.
Yeah, I mean, and look, we can't forget that the NFL owns stakes and shares in DraftKings and all these other FanDuel and these companies in the background. So Look, these guys didn't become billionaires being morons financially, and they're not trying to stay billionaires. They're trying to become trillionaires, and they're doing a good job of it. Look, the NFL is the most popular sport there is. They run it like a well-oiled machine. Clearly, they are the idea that they can continue to negotiate the giant TV deals despite TV, you would think, becoming less and less relevant. But then you turn on and you hear that the Super Bowl is the most watched event in human history, right? Is like somehow the NFL is impervious to the economy, impervious to technological changes, and just benefits from them. So not only did they get that that $11 billion deal that they're going to split equally between each 32 teams over the next 11 years, but then you add in the billions from the streaming from Amazon and Peacock and whoever else they continue to expand it to, as well as the YouTube. Think about this, is the YouTube paying an arm and a leg for, what is it?
Sunday ticket.
Yeah, the Sunday ticket.
Sunday ticket.
And then sports gambling, which they will control and get a revenue of. Look, it's just wild, and I mean, I guess the only thing more bizarre than people continuing to pay absorbent prices for, I mean, you could even say for a bad team, but like even good teams, is looking at what's going on in college, and look at the money flying around. I mean, just wonder how long the consumer can keep up, or if we'll have to eat cereal for dinner. What else we got, Cody?
Yeah, man. So we'll jump into some of these interviews that were given this morning by Dave Canales and Dan Morgan. And obviously the biggest news always revolves around the quarterback, Tony. Bryce Young has been a big question. And Dave Canales was asked what he plans to do to fix Bryce Young. And he had a very strong statement that was very pointed and took a lot of Panther fans by surprise and even pissed some others off. So let's see what Dave had to say.
I think for me, it's about building an offense that we can be proud of, something that is tough, something that is smart.
I'm starting.
Plan to fix Bryce Young. I think for me, it's about building an offense that we can be proud of, something that is tough, something that is smart, that takes care of the football. Number one, we got to create more explosives, and then of course we have to minimize damage with exotic pressures and things like that. So I think just elevating the whole group, and really asking Bryce to just do his part, and that kind of, without getting really into the specifics of it, but I have had a lot more chance to really dive into some film since the last time we've talked, and so I have a specific plan. Can't wait to put that into play. But again, we're not talking about a guy that there's a big fix for, really. You're looking at an accurate player, a really smart player. He's aware of what's happening. We got to build the whole thing around him, the whole offense around him, something that we can really say this is our identity.
Can you
Shout out
do
to
me a
Carolina
favor?
Blitz for the interview.
Yes, thank you, Carolina Blitz. Can you pull up the next slide too that's related to this? And that is this is Darren Gant, who maybe we didn't reload it. Go back one. Oh man, maybe you didn't reload it since I put this. There.
Yeah, here it is.
There we go.
Yeah.
Darren Gant, who works for Panthers, for the Carolina Panthers, Panthers.com, really their lead, I think, editorialist. He says Dave Canales does not hold the worldview that Bryce Young is broken and needs to be repaired. I don't know if I'm like, quit whining, Darren. I don't think that that's really a take that he's broken. I don't think that that's been the take. I don't even think that's been my realistic viewpoint. The viewpoint is that it's hard to evaluate how good he's going to be in the NFL when you don't see him with any weapons, when you don't see him behind an offensive line, and you continue to wonder about his ability going forward. Is he just going to be a very good college player and an okay pro player, or can he be great in the NFL? But nobody has thought that he's like gun shy. I don't think. I don't think he's been prone to intercept.
I would
Really?
argue that. I mean,
yeah. Go ahead.
Well, man, maybe that's just me putting my head in the sand.
Well, I think that might be a little bit of that, Tony. But I think that there's there's not a lot of people in the middle on Bryce, right? There's not a lot of people that are saying we just got to give it. It's either he is going to be good or he is broken, right? He is broken is a narrative that is very widely believed among Panthers fans and many other people in the entire, that aren't even fans of the Panthers. They believe that he is broken.
Well, I mean, but
like,
look
that
at
makes
that,
it sound like he was good at like David Carr, and he
look at it
got
like
mentally beat
up.
up.
Guys like Zach Wilson and Sam Darnold that went into a shit situation and they never got that help around them. A lot of people said that it broke them. Now, again, I'm not making one-for-one comparisons here. But, Tony, we have to be honest. Bryce left a lot wanting last year. I mean, a lot. And there is a large contingent of Panther fans, one, that just flat out don't believe in Bryce. And then, number two, maybe fans that think that he just doesn't have the requisite talent to be that guy. However, if you are one of these people that believes that Bryce was bad this year because the O-line was so terrible, because the wide receivers weren't separating on their own, because the play calling was so terrible, then I think if you're one of those people, you listen to that clip from Dave Canales and you're self-assured. Because one, he's echoing belief in the quarterback that no, we don't need to fix him. We need to help him. We need to put talent around him to put him into better scenarios. And I think that was more of a long-winded way of Dave Canales saying those very things. So I think it was a good answer for a coach who's trying to show his players and the team and the whole world and all the fans that he believes that Bryce Young, one, isn't broken, and two, is their quarterback of the future.
I guess maybe I'm fixating on the word broken as in thinking that like he was something that is now not functioning because of some sort of factors.
That is the case, though. If you think about his, I mean, that's what the people, that's where people are of that belief. And it has to do with the fact that they believe that he was a good player in college, came to the Panthers, which was an absolute crap show and dumpster fire. And that, I mean, there is something to be said about the psychology of a bad rookie year.
Sure. Is that, if that's what we're worried about, him being mentally broken, but I feel like he persevered throughout the season through adversity. Like, yeah, I mean, he didn't have the.
Are you taking broken literally?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. No, that's that part. I don't think anybody's concerned about.
So, like, to me, that means like it's like he had something that can't now be like he's psychologically damaged. He's physically broken. To me, I think it's more of an unknown. Kind of reminds me of this is when this was probably about 2001. I used to work at this Greek restaurant, Marathon, great place in Greenville, North Carolina. Best steak and cheese in Greenville. And the owner there bought this was before big screen TVs were a thing yet. They were still newer.
Yeah, it was like you weren't getting it unless you were rich.
Yeah, and he bought a $6,000 TV in 2000. And it was HD ready. And he's from Casual. He goes, "Hey, Tony, this is the $6,000 TV." He always be like, "We have the fourth best most expensive hot dog. This TV, HD ready, $6,000. The problem is there was no HD.
There was nothing that really benefited from it.
I still think about this shit. It's like you buy an HD TV, it's ready. It's ready for HD, but there's no HD out there. So I actually don't know if the HD TV worked.
Yeah, because you didn't get to see it with HD.
Yeah,
and
that's what I feel like with Bryce is he's not broken. I don't know if he's broken or not. Is that there was no HD to plug it into. And then by the time HD was ready, that TV was obsolete. That thing was so fucking big, dude. We brought it to the restaurant to watch the Super Bowl one year for a Super Bowl party, and you had to bring it like on a moving truck.
Oh my gosh.
It was
Tony,
heavy.
can I give you a compliment? That might have been the most incredible metaphor for what we saw this year with Bryce Young. That might have been the
He's HD
greatest
ready.
metaphor I've ever heard with regard to comparing Bryce Young's rookie year
That's
to
funny.
a TV before its time. It's
Like, where do I plug into HD
Right.
cord?
it's similar to having somebody who is a genius, who figures maybe out a complex math problem, but he's not. We don't have the technology to actually test it, so he's before his time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, we can't
interesting.
invent time travel suits until we invent time travel.
Right.
No.
So what else do we got about Dave Canales in this offense? I saw a couple of cool things. Look, I think he did say, and you're probably going to play this clip, talked about the running game.
Yes.
Well, this isn't that one. I figured
Okay.
since we're talking about Bryce, this is
Yeah,
a
let's
little
go
more
ahead. See what he's
of
got
him
to say.
talking about Bryce and what he feels about him as a player and what he has and hasn't shown as quarterback.
I think that he's got the tools that we saw a year ago, and so I think just number one, we're going to have to teach him a new offense. So that's going to be a big part of it, And I think just from a fundamental standpoint, I just see a really accurate player. I see a decisive player. And then I think that, for him, some of the basic things that is like any quarterback improvement is footwork. Let's just continue to grow more specific to the pass concept, more specific to who is this person running this route. 3 different receivers, same route. It could be 3 different things. Again, that's a coaching thing too on that side of it, trying to get everyone to marry the concepts. I think maximizing some of his abilities are going to help that, just some more play action, some boots, some things like that. That'll come
Love
off
that.
the run game.
Yeah.
Year 2 in recognizing pressures, he's now played 16 games. So he's got a good variety of exotic looks, coverages, blitzes, different things that might have got him. He might not have seen this or that. So we'll be able to kind of walk him through. Here's some tells on those things. So some basic year 2 improvement.
This is a top-notch
sounds-
video right here.
Yeah, it sounds like he's excited about the development of Bryce Young. He talks
That's-
about the fact that he has played
That's
a
why
lot.
we hired him.
Yeah, going into year 2, he's more familiar with different blitz formations, different protection packages, and he emphasized that he's going to be learning a brand new offense. And I feel like we need to remember that too as we go into the season. That yet again, this is what comes with having a new offensive play caller. You're going to have to learn new things. You're going to have to.
Oh, it's going to be easy to forget that last offense, dude.
But the fact that you
Just
said
bring
more
it right back.
play action, more boots, those are all the things that we've been screaming for this offense to have more of because they're things that we think Bryce Young does well. So, I mean, right now, there's a little bit of coach speak to it, but he's checking the right boxes.
Yeah, I think that is that. I mean, sometimes coach speak is like that's the things you actually have to say. One thing when you just go through with this is when we discussed how to proceed going forward when we were talking about coaching hires and things, and a lot of question was, is Bryce the pathway forward? We have no choice, right? It's like regardless if you believe or you don't believe, right? I'm a believer, right? I believe this kid. I've seen enough where I think he can play, right, at the NFL level. Now, how great he will be, I'm not ready to sign off on any of those things. But it really it does not feel like the Panthers had the luxury, the opportunity, or even needed to just say, like, we're one and done, right? The whole plan needs to be building around Bryce for the next 2 years. And you got 2 years. You got this year and the year after. And then we can come back and say, is it time to choose a new direction? Anything else would be premature. And anything else would be reactionary. This is exactly what you need to do.
Yeah.
You need to, this is why they hired him, right? Because you need a coach that you can confidently believe in. You don't want to have what's going on in Denver right now, And even though that's a much different scenario because of a veteran player who's paid bukus of money in Russell Wilson, but the coach needs to believe in him. And that's what he does. It's like, hey, this is what we got, and this is how we're going to go forward. Bryce is our pathway forward. That's reasonable. I do wonder when the happy smiley wears off on us. Is it like it's so
it'll depend
so
on
optimistic, dude? Like he's like, "Hey guys, how's your week?"
Yeah.
And you're like Monday morning, you're like, "Oh, hungover."
Well,
Hey
here's
dudes,
the
it's a
thing.
great, beautiful day.
You already know the answer. If we start losing coming out the gate, and it's like he's got this upbeat, chipper attitude, and everything's looking still like trash, then yeah, it's gonna get really old or really fucking
Real quick,
fast.
yeah.
Maybe.
However, look, man, I definitely think that he has an air of optimism that, frankly, I think we need right now, man.
Yeah.
He has that youthful exuberance that I feel like, you know, he might not have the tenure of some of the older coaches like Frank Reich that we fired, but he has that type of that, you know, like I said, that youthful exuberance to be able to talk to his teammates that are younger guys, get the fan base excited, get us excited when we're talking about this. I mean, look at dude, you can't stop bouncing around. It's contagious, man.
Can
So,
I throw this
yeah.
out here too? I would almost push back on the fact that it's coach speak. I feel like he's the most genuine speaker that we've had in a coaching position in
I agree.
a very long time. I really don't think, like, when you listen to him, he says a lot of things that he doesn't need to. Yeah, I went back. I've actually watched the film. I've actually, you know, it took me about 2 or 3 games to get emotionally invested, but I did. And I mean, like, he was going through telling everything about, like, he wasn't shy about talking about things. I mean, obviously he stayed away from
Frank
the hot
Reich
topics.
was too honest sometimes. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, that was on me. I didn't even know he was on the field." Like sometimes you just got to keep your mouth shut, Frank. But I think when it comes to the happy smiley thing, I know a few people like this in my personal life, and you would think it gets old, but it doesn't get old when it's truly them.
Right.
Right. Like it's like when it's not just like, oh, I want to be like that is their world view. It's part of their, and so like where you think it would get old, you're like, man, this mug is the best dude in the world. I work with a guy like this, and you're like, gosh, I mean, you just, even when he's upset, it's like,
so positive.
God, you're so nice about being mad.
It's
You
similar
know,
to how Cam described Luke in his interview with Luke.
He reminds me of our good friend Diesel Skills, because even when he's not happy, he still seems really happy, and everybody likes to hang out with him.
One other thing that sticks out to me, like you were saying, CK, about his comments. Well, one is first is that we mentioned him and not fixing Bryce. Look, is this guy has been associated with quarterbacks who have had questionable moments in their careers and have had resurgences. You could say Russell Wilson had his best years when he worked with Canales. But look, really, the proof is in the pudding of Geno Smith and Baker Mayfield, right? It's two guys. Look, Baker looked like
Russell Wilson, really, to an extent. You're gonna add
Baker looked like a bum last year, or maybe the year before, you know, and then this past season when he all of a sudden had the so there's that, right? There's the hope that's what you brought him here for, is for that transition. The other thing, CK, I heard this once about, it was kind of like about hiring people for positions. I like to hire young instructors at where I work at. Like I like to give people their early shots because you get that enthusiasm, you get that, you know, they haven't been soured by the world yet. They haven't been beaten down by the grind. There's kind of when it comes to like a CEO or these really high profile, very important positions, it's kind of like a magic number. I mean, it's not, but it's like when youth meets maturity at the right moment. Because what I feel like is he doesn't just say generalities. But if you heard what he was talking about, like when it came to when they're going to meet with Bryce Did you guys hear the part where he was like, I learned this from Brian Schottenheimer, and he's like, I'm going to put together a fucking 7-page plan. And you know what it is? There's substance to it.
Yeah.
There's specifics. There's meat to it. It's kind of like the thing when you go from a young writer, when I work with these kids and it's like, hey, you got ideas here and a good discussion, but how do we put more meat on the bone? How do we really attack it with specifics rather than generalities? And that's how I kind of feel like he's not just saying platitudes.
Yeah.
He's saying platitudes and then supporting them with specifics.
Yeah. And he's also been very specific about his want to run the football. And this is another aspect of him that we're learning about, and how he's basically saying that what the Panthers weren't doing last year, we're going to be doing this year.
Never give up on the run game. So we saw a lot of really frustrating games last year. We had some 68-yard rushing games.
I think he's talking about Tampa, though.
He is right there.
The first half of the season. And I just kind of shared in these settings, like, we're not going to stop running the ball. Now, within reason, we have to find a way to score points. So that was a challenge in and of itself. But you have to be able to run the ball to go where we want to go ultimately, which is number one, to win the division, win the South, and then to win deep in the playoffs. And if you watch the teams that go far, it's the teams that can run, because I promise you, the pass rush gets better every week you advance in the playoffs. And then you go to now we're down to 8. And the pass rush just gets better in Detroit. And then if you make it to that Final Four, man, did you look at the 4 teams that were in the conference championships? You look at the pass rush, you better be able to run the ball. So it's something that I'm going to be stubborn about. It's something that I'm going to be committed to. It's how you create explosive plays in the play action, but then it's also how you're able to neutralize a really good offense on the other side by running the ball, by having not game management all the time, but also just being balanced and mixing those in allows you to have that time of possession to a point where, okay, let's even this thing out a little bit here. So I'm excited about proving to all of you how stubborn I can be about trying to figure out the run game. We went from 76 yards a game to 96 yards a game by the end of the season. By no means were we one of the prolific rushing teams, but I was proud of the fact that we had a chance to go franchise record 4 straight 100-yard games. That was because we didn't give up on it. We just kept working the problem. And then Goody and Joe and the run pod in Tampa was just finding those runs that fit us, what fits Rashad White, what fits this offensive line, and we'll be able to do the same thing in Carolina.
This is the one of the things that I talked a lot about in the weeks that when we hired Dave Canales, is people like, oh, look at that offense in Tampa, mediocre numbers. I think
the first comment under the video is, didn't the Bucks have the worst rushing offense in the NFL last year?
Right. I think, but he says this, look, it's about progression. Is that if you look at the last 4 games of Tampa's season versus the first 4 games, they're a different beast when it comes to that. And so you're not one thing. It's kind of like if you just said, like, hey, this person is one thing they've done. You are the culmination of the season. And he is, is like, look, if the Panthers aren't busting off 120 yards in the first week and Bryce Young throwing 270 and 2 touchdowns, that doesn't mean like next week needs to be better. The following needs to be, and that's what we didn't have under these previous regimes, is a steady progress forward.
Right. Well, it felt like under the previous regimes, we were so quick to abandon what we thought we were going to be. The run game isn't working. All right, well, let's just abandon it.
Yeah.
We don't have any wide receivers, so we're just gonna abandon
pass.
it.
Yeah.
We're gonna not go the deep pass because we can't get anybody open down the field. Like, it just, for the past 5 years, that's what it's felt like our coaches have done, which is go into a game that seems common sense to have a certain game plan associated with what we saw from an opponent, and we just abandon it. And so I like the fact that he is open about the fact that they weren't doing good as a running team last year, but they didn't give up. They continued to push through, and I think that's something that should be a positive about this interview. And if you're looking at the negatives about their rushing offense last year over in Tampa, whether or not bringing Canales over was a good idea, I think that should give you some solace and understanding that there's light at the end of the tunnel on this one.
I'm super hopeful that his enthusiasm, like the upbeat, the energy, energizes the team in practices, not like necessarily like in speeches. I don't think like, I mean, yeah, like a good halftime speech always gets us fired up. I don't know how much a pro who has been playing his whole life is like that it changes their view. But I do think that when you see, if you have a teacher, I mean, I teach for a living. So like if you bring energy, it's hard to expect your students to have energy if you don't bring energy. Right. And so like, I'm hoping that his energy just kind of exudes in training camp, in practices where they are maximizing the moments instead of guys like, oh, okay, well, let's head over here at old Frank Reich's station, and instead it just being an energy that is contagious. That's what we're truly hoping, or I'm hoping.
Yeah. And, before we go any further, CK, we're in need of those golden pipes that you got, brother, because we've got a brand new super fan.
Well, let's see if this thing's still working.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, we have a new C3 superfan by the name of Bill Cravens. Welcome to the C3 Superfan Club. Feel free to join for $1.99.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Bill. If you would like to do like Bill and get your name green in that chat room, consider joining for $1.99 a month. We are going to be putting out exclusive content for our premium subscribers, man. We're going to be looking at some draft prospects. It'll be fun, man. And we have the combine coming up. Hey, we appreciate y'all sticking around. C3 Panthers Podcast. Yeah, so again, this is something that we heard a little bit from already, but this is Dave Canales again talking about the type of offense and basically what it'll mean for Bryce to learn it and get accustomed to it. And again, we already sort of heard it a little bit, but he says, I see a really accurate player. For him, some of the basic things for any quarterback is improvement in footwork. Let's continue to grow more specific to the pass concept, more specific to who is this person running the route. 3 different receivers run the same route. It could be 3 different things. That's a coaching thing. Maximize some of his abilities that are going to help with that. And Tony, you're talking about if he's able to get the most out of our players and uplift them, I want him to be a teacher. If there are things that Bryce needs to learn, I want Dave Canales to be the teacher and the facilitator that helps him become the best version of himself. I want him to get the best out of Jonathan Mingo, who, we're all wondering a lot about after his first year in the NFL. I want to see if he can really build up our players when it comes to the X's and O's and the specificity of what they're going to be asking them to do.
I agree.
Kristen Ledame, sorry to hear about your father-in-law. We'll go ahead and call him your father-in-law. I'm sorry to pass that, but we're here with family now.
Sorry to hear that, Kristen.
We are locking arms together to talk about the Carolina Panthers. One concern when I read this, though, is at what point do Panther fans start talking about Dave Canales' offense being too vanilla?
Well, if we're doing run the ball and we're never passing the ball, I think
but like the 2 wide receiver, like I think this is what Canales' offense lends towards more traditional kind of, maybe I want to say kind of like what a Norv Turner offense was, like the vertical threats, the kind of that Air Corral offense rather than a spread. So it's not a spread up. Look, he said we're not teaching 4 and 5 receiver sets here. Right, is that he's actually creating a lot of the disguise by replicating the same looks over, but those looks then change into different things when you actually run the play. But I wonder, look, everybody hated Mike Shula when he was the Panthers offensive coordinator, but he wasn't that bad, man. It was just like, it just didn't have this exotic new flavor to it. He kind of ran some stuff like that.
Are you saying that Dave Canales is another Mike Shula?
Well, he's from that Schottenheimer, and I'll look up like here while you guys continue to talk. Let me see what the Schottenheimer offensive tree is like.
I mean, what do you think about that, CK? I mean, does it run the risk of being more vanilla, or maybe is there a better word that we need to find? Maybe like
I think
an attempt to streamline. what
I
we're
think
doing.
that-
You're right. Oh gosh, I love when I'm right.
What?
Schottenheimer is an Air Corel coach. Hey, that's a North Turner thing. All right, go ahead, CK.
No, I was going to say that I think that the way I look at this is I could see Canales. I don't know that Canales is going to have the exact offense he's always had with Baker even. I think he's done a really good job in the offenses that he has been a part of catering the offense around this quarterback. And that may not mean that we have a gunslinger type of an offense that most people are probably hoping for with a number 1 overall draft pick in Bryce Young. It may be a lot of the off-platform type things, all the the things that you saw him do well in Alabama, when he was able to just make something out of nothing, right? Allowing him to basically maybe have very plain and simple concepts in the offense, but allowing for him to be able to do the things, escape the pocket, buy time for his wide receivers to get open, and then just make those things happen that are off script. That's my belief. Him giving us a simple offense might actually be the best thing that could possibly happen for Bryce Young. And here's the other piece to this. It isn't going to be just running. He just said we want to be committed to the run, but also within reason. He wants that to be able to open up the explosive plays. So it's not that he's saying we're going to be doing one in spite of the other. He's saying that one is going to be there because of the other. And we know that that's always been the case when it comes to the running game. Every announcer you've ever heard is they're going to try to establish the run so that it can open up their play action deep pass later on down the in the game. And so it's not a new idea, but it seems to be one that we failed to try to execute over the past 5 years.
It's requisite in the NFL. Like people forget how that these players are so good when you put the 2 high safeties in there. You can't get open with these pass rushes if you're not keeping linebackers, keeping these guys honest, maybe them having to slip the strong safety down to assist in the run game. The chat is on fire tonight. My bastard son said he's not vanilla, he's French vanilla. Love that. And this one is my favorite comment of the night. The professional. He said the forward pass is going to be so exotic here in Carolina. Oh, that's a good one. This is what I just Googled Schottenheimer's offense real quick, and it's just 2 statements. He said, look, he likes to hit receivers on. So this is who Canales learned from, right? This is who he studied under. He likes to hit receivers on the run and design plays for yards after the catch, right? It's an Air Coryell coach. He's who uses inside zone runs to set up play action passing, right? Sometimes it doesn't have to be that hard, right? Now, the question is, can you execute these things? Do they start to figure it out? How do you continue to get that to work? Can you get it to work when you don't have a Mike Evans?
That is the question. That's ultimately the question.
That really we saw what their offense was. And look, Mike Evans they knew they're going to Mike Evans. They still had problems. And then that opened up so many other things. But we don't have a Mike Evans. So,
we don't. We don't. And he even alluded to the fact that when you have Mike in your wide receiver core, it makes it a tremendous it makes it a tremendous amount easier. I can't remember the exact words he said, but you're not starting from scratch. You have a thing that you build around. Right. Like, this is us, and then we go from there. Right. And the thing with Mike Evans is, like you said, he was their main, like, if only wide receiver that they had on their team. Godwin took until later in the year to actually get going. So Mike Evans has been different for the last couple of years too, CK, where Mike Evans was good, but he wasn't the guy. Premier. Like Tom Brady spread it out a lot more. Tom Brady always liked to go to that no-name guy in big situations.
But Mike Evans got work. Like if you had him, which I did in fantasy, you got some fucking benefit from it. All right, what's next?
I mean, maybe there will be an opportunity for us to get another wide receiver like a Mike Evans. You never know. So before we go on, I wanted to bring this up. We got this from Dan Morgan, who also gave an interview this morning and told some very revealing things. And one thing that I do not like, and that is that the plan is Ikem Ekwonu is going to be the left tackle for the Carolina Panthers next year. It doesn't sound like there's any consideration on moving him to guard, much to my chagrin. And it seems like Dan Morgan really believes that he can hold down that left tackle spot. And it's going to be a big year for him going into year 3, protecting Bryce Young's blind side. How do we feel about this? Is there any disappointment that there isn't more of a consideration to maybe move him around? Or am I the only one in Panther Nation still pushing for this?
Yeah, you're the only one because it's not even about whether moving him around is a good idea or the right idea or even still in the works. Is what benefit would Dan Morgan get from saying anything otherwise?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Is that even if they are looking at a potential free agent addition to supplement, even if they, what benefit would they by showing their cards right now? It wouldn't help Icky. It wouldn't help Icky at all. I think he did say this is look, Icky wants to be better. We think he can be better. This is what you say. And even if they do tend to roll it out, maybe they're telling the truth, but like this is us hanging on every word a little bit too much. But like these guys, I mean, saying anything else would just be kind of putting the cart before the horse.
Sure. And here's my thoughts on this too is I don't know that this is so bad because I mean I know I've flip-flopped on this a little bit. I don't know that I'm ready to say that he's not able to be a good tackle in the league.
Same.
He's learned 2 separate offenses 2 years in a row, just like many of these other people.
Now a third.
And had multiple, now he's got 2 quarterbacks to have to, I mean, I guess 4 quarterbacks if you count last year. All these people have different playing styles. I think him learning more about Bryce Young, more about this new offense, I think it's worthy of him being given an opportunity at left tackle. I don't know that keeping him at left tackle all year if he's struggling is a good idea because you do have a quarterback that you've got to protect. But I do agree that it's possible him moving to guard could be the best thing, but I'm just not sure I'm ready to remove the potential that he had at left tackle from the equation because he had a decent rookie year. He had an abysmal last year, as did every other player on our team.
Right.
So,
you start getting rolling a little bit. You start creating a little bit more, and then you don't have to, get them playing with a little confidence. You don't want to give up prematurely. I think this is the year you figure out, though. I think the problem is, or the real thing that I would be interested with the Panthers, and I think this was the big problem last year, is that the entire roster was predicated on it working from the from the starting lineup only. And what you really just have to do is you got to be hopeful that Icky is going to get better this year. But you also need to be prepared if you need to change directions. And you got to be prepared for injury. You got to be able to pivot. So you can't just overly lock in to a philosophy, been listening to this book called Think Again. It's about changing your ideas. And, we talk about confirmation bias a lot, like looking for plays. Everything we're hearing in this book, I think about Bryce Young when the Carolina Panthers Twitter. But one of the terms that it references a lot, and I like this term, is desirability bias. And that is you have a belief and a desire for an outcome. So you continue to invest in it intellectually and to the point of refuting evidence.
Yeah.
or ignoring
but to
evidence.
be
And
fair,
so that's what we don't want to have is we want to be optimistic about the player, but we don't want to have a desirability bias to where it's like, this is the plan and it's going to work, or we're going to sink trying.
Yeah. And
Right.
Tony, that's my fear, is that's what the Panthers are doing when it comes to Icky playing left tackle.
But
That
we
the
don't know. We
goal
haven't hit free agency yet.
Well, all right, but listen, but we're not going to downplay how bad he was last year. Like, it's not like, he was looking like he had a slump. I mean, in one-on-one scenarios, Homie was abysmal. And if you go back to his evaluation at NC State, pass protection was never necessarily his biggest thing. It was not the thing that he was best at doing. That first year, he was in that downhill system, and he was really effective running the football. And I think there is some hope to be had in that, especially if you believe Dave Canales saying that we're going to really commit to running the football. I think that isn't good for Icky, though. I just worry about those passing situations that we're wanting to see something from Bryce this year. But if Icky Ekwonu isn't going to be able to hold up that left tackle position, and if his footwork doesn't drastically improve, it could be a very, very bad scenario for both him and for Bryce. And I'm just not in the mood for optimism, I guess, at this point in my fandom. Like, we want all these players to turn on and be the best version of themselves. We're optimistic about it every year. And then it's like, I don't know. I want to see him do it before I even hint that he might be able to.
Well, let me give you a different comparison. If we think of Jonathan Mingo, I think it's strange to me how many people, particularly who are Bryce, have the Bryce desirability bias and the Bryce confirmation bias.
Yeah.
How quick they are to throw Jonathan Mingo to the wolves.
Yeah.
My point is this, and it's really very much, I think you could see it more with Mingo than maybe even with Icky. And that is, look, Mingo might not be a good player. He might not work out. But to give up on him prematurely is more reactionary than it is justified. But you also can't walk into this season going, well, we got Jonathan Mingo. He's going to be our number 2 receiver. Right? You can hope for Mingo to progress. You can be optimistic that he can become a player in the NFL, but you can't put all your eggs in the Jonathan Mingo basket.
No,
so we can
why
be
are we
hopeful.
doing it for Ekwonu?
Well, I don't think we are yet because we haven't hit free agency. We haven't hit training camp. We don't know if we're going to see other guys getting reps and practicing in the background in case Icky, because that's what you're going to try to do. Maybe is you're going to probably give Brady Christensen some work at left tackle, or if you get a veteran tackle in there, a guy who's a swing tackle, make sure that guy's back there in the number 2 spot, ready to take over in case the Icky optimism doesn't turn into what it is. You can't just go, it's Icky or no Icky, right? Like, I mean, I think it would be foolish to just say, you know what? We don't believe he can be a left tackle. Hey, everybody, we're going to overpay in free agency for a left tackle. We're going to go and draft one too high in the draft. Is that you can be optimistic about Ekwonu and hopeful, should I say, but also make preparations.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. And here's the thing is Cody's suggestion, I don't think should be off the table either. Right. If they don't see, and heck, I mean, they may not even make it to the regular season before they make the decision to move him to guard.
Correct.
And Brady out to left tackle. You never know. I just think to go into this season with the assumption that he isn't going to be the left tackle would be, I just think that would be bad coaching on their part.
I
right.
agree.
You've got to let this guy, that's all he's played in the NFL is left tackle. Right. So coming into this season without the potential of him playing left tackle would just be absolutely bonkers.
You have to plan, and you plan, it would be foolish for a hurricane to come and you not to have some water and some canned food and some things like that. You don't have to build a bunker. You don't have to board up your windows necessarily. It's just foolish to cut bait too soon, and it's foolish to keep fishing too long. Yeah. So you got to find that, and you got to change the look. We'll see. We'll see. But
position
come on, we haven't even hit the
that
fucking
he
free
is.
agency yet.
I understand. I
Come on.
maintain
Hey,
that
Cody,
dude is
don't
a
worry. We haven't
guard.
hit free agency yet.
He
We haven't.
is
We've
a
got.
guard. And by the way, there is no answer at left tackle in free agency either.
Oh, Judge.
An old Tyron Smith isn't going to be
So then
your
what do
answer
you
at
do?
left tackle.
Then what do you do?
You're
Then you
hoping
just
that
throw your hands
no,
up
you
in
know
the air
what?
and quit?
No, you already know what to do. You know what the answer is.
So he should
my
come out and say
answer
an
is-
injured Brady Christensen who has never played left tackle in the NFL. He's our starter. That
No,
would be
I
dumb.
think no. What I think he should do is he should say that we're flexible to any and every idea that helps us win football games.
Yeah.
So I don't think that he needs.
I
to
don't think
commit
they said
to either
otherwise.
or. I think he needs to be open to the idea that everyone needs to be open to the idea that maybe Ike Ekwonu might end up being a better guard than a left tackle. And I don't think that's
Don't you
outlandish.
think you could say that to your coaching staff? You could say that to your assistant GM. You don't have to come out in the media and say that.
That's my
like,
point.
what do you really want, Dan? Like, what could he say that's going to make anybody? It's not good. He said exactly the right thing.
Well, but there was another, and we'll play it in a little bit. Dave Canales mentioned something about upgrading the roster and upgrading different positions and how everybody is going to have to compete for it. But we'll jump into that. I wanted to stay on this Dan Morgan train, though, because, again, the big elephant in the room that everybody's been talking about when it comes to, the Carolina Panthers is indeed Brian Burns, and he did drop a new little set of info when it comes to Brian and a few other people.
We're still working through those conversations. Actually meeting with his agent, Todd France, within the next couple of days. We'll have a little more clarity on the situation after that, but we're working on it.
So again, they're sort of making it sound like they're leaving all options on the table.
It's a nothing
It
burger.
didn't say much. Yeah, it didn't say much of anything, but he did mention the idea that Frankie Louvu as someone that they wanted to resign. They even brought up that dog. He even brought up Derek Brown as someone who might be on track to get paid, which I would love that even more. I think Derek Brown is probably the most deserving of being paid on the whole team.
I'm curious how Dan Morgan is going to be able to separate himself as a player who understands what it's like to be on the other side of these negotiations, who's played with Brian Burns' brother, how he handles those negotiations. Because, I mean,
will he be shrewd enough?
Will he be able to be the guy who's able to say, we can't do that? Or is he going to be like, you know what? You deserve the extra $5 million. Let's just go ahead and sneak it in there in the signing bonus.
The old Marty Herney.
You know what I mean? Like, where does Ken? And I'm sure he has. There's no evidence that he doesn't have the ability to say no, right? There's no evidence that he's going to look at this situation and overpay Brian Burns. The fact that he hasn't been paid yet tells me that.
They're tagging that mug.
I mean, they've got to. I mean, there's no other.
They're not paying him.
There's nobody else on the team that you would tag. And if you why let him walk for nothing? You'd lose a guy. You wouldn't have gotten anything in return. I think tagging is the only option.
And we talked about
unless Brian takes a significant humble pie deal.
We talked about this a little bit on the free for all, and to get you guys to jump in on it. The rumors was that he was Burns was taking a long-term deal with an average salary of close to $30 million last season, according to quote unquote sources. The two sides never got close with Carolina. They were saying Carolina not expected to have.
Well, what about that one report that said they offered him $27 million and he turned it down?
And then somebody anonymous went on WFNZ, and they said from Burns' and them perspective that it was closer to around $20 million, but it got up to $27 million in incentives that Burns and his camp thought was unreasonable. So it seems
Okay,
that
so
there's a
like,
little,
this is where if we don't really know the real numbers,
yeah,
who's
there seems
leaking
like a
this
lot of
information?
propaganda. It seems like some propaganda from both sides, from Burns' team and from the Panthers. Like if they're saying that he wanted more than 30 million and it wasn't that, maybe they're trying to paint him in a bad light. I don't know.
And
What
then
else?
he came out, Brian Burns came out and said, y'all really don't know what's going on. You know, like we can't really talk. So, like, how much of this is disinformation, misinformation by
Right.
the media? Our team is the team leaking it out. The problem I think that emerges from this is like, how does this sour the relationship? If this is the Carolina Panthers kind of leaking these numbers, 27, and he said no. That's a lot different than what Brian Burns is saying, is that it's $20 million, but I could get up to 27 if I did all this stuff, right? That's way different than saying he turned down $27 million.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys? I'm curious because the cap situation. So that thing that they said we had 39 million came out before the cap numbers. I remember that being something that was released before the updated cap figures. But when I'm looking at over the cap and spot track and everything, they have us at 32 million in cap space, even after the increase in our salary cap, which seems,
everyone else. So Joe Person,
Carolina. Why is Carolina never have cap money? The cap goes up tremendously. Oh, the Carolina Panthers still middle of the pack in cap money.
But the funny thing is I don't understand how, because I remember last offseason, one of the things we were talking about is this offseason we were going to have a lot of cap space.
Yeah.
And we didn't.
And then they tell us it's next year now.
Well, so again, for those who don't know what we're talking about, the salary cap for the 2024 season has been set at $255.4 million, which is a $30 million increase per club, with an additional $74 million per club payment for player benefits, including performance-based pay and benefits for former players. When Joe Person reported it, he said that early estimates had Carolina around $28.6 million, but now the Panthers would be working with around $40.2 million. And most of the people on Twitter reported this. So I don't necessarily know how SpotRack is adding this up, but most people are reporting that we're going to be around 40.
What this is going to require is we have to restructure Moten's contract.
Moten is a big hit.
He's $25 million hit this year.
I thought it was at $29 million.
Well, let's see. It says
he's like 29
if we cut him, it's 29. If we cut him, we save $5 million.
Yeah, and it's a $25 million dead
money.
cap.
Yeah. 29.7 million is his cap number. Dante Jackson is another restructure candidate, right? Those two guys are
like
sucking us dry.
16, yeah,
and
like
15 mil, yeah.
Everybody sees us moving on from those two in very short order.
I think we restructured Taylor Moten. I think that comes with an extension. It comes with moving some money around. It's just where he doesn't say, if that number for him was 15 this year, he doesn't lose money. He still makes 30 million. He doesn't lose the money. It's just the way it's paid out over the next 3 years.
Well, the issue is that so last year they did the restructure, which pulled 10 million of his salary into this year, 9.247 million. So his initial base salary is 14 million with $3 million signing bonus and a $3 million roster bonus, and then $9 million restructure bonus. So that's where the majority that's coming from is that obviously his base salary, but it's really that cap hit that's the number one thing. That dude is going to be like, if we don't do a restructure, that dude is going to be jumping up and down for joy. He's going to be so happy. That money is, oh my gosh.
Yeah, Moten's made some loot.
Which, I mean, to be fair, when's the last time we had a complaint about our right tackle? I mean,
I think 2 years ago we started to think he was declining, and then last year he had a decent. He looked all right at times. You know,
I
it
mean,
was
I
this was
remember
the problem.
floating the idea of trading him while he still has value, and maybe moving Brady to that side. I don't know. It's like I'm almost of the Bill Belichick mindset of I'd rather say goodbye a little early than hang on a little bit too late.
Well, the problem is we'd still eat a good portion of that. We
Yeah,
wouldn't save
that's
as
the
much
problem.
money as you would think. We'd still have to eat that restructure bonus.
All the guaranteed money would stay with us.
Yeah. So I
So
mean,
you
we
really-
wouldn't. We'd still probably be eating $25 million.
Yeah, you gotta just change the way the money's distributed over the next 3 years. That's a guarantee. There is no way that's not happening. There's no way that's not happening. So, Cody, you want to take a couple calls, man?
Yeah, let's do it.
10:07.
Let's do it. If you would like to leave a message in the Cat Calls line, the number to do so is 252-228-5098. Let your voice be heard on the C3 Panthers podcast.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in the snow? Who's that kid that can use one?
What's up, C3? It's Anthony from Charlotte. Hope y'all boys are having a good Tuesday.
What up, Ant?
I just want to call in and give my thoughts on the pressers this morning. First off, I love everything that start with Dan first. I mean, seems like he knows what he's doing. And not really coach speak. I mean, he basically just said he wants to re-sign all the core players. He's already been in talks with Derek Brown's agent about an extension. That's awesome to see. You want to pay players ahead of time, so the contract isn't a lot of money when, you know, the market's reset later down the line. And it seems like he's learning from past mistakes, especially with this Brian Burns situation on his hands. So he said he wants to re-sign Luvu and Brown. For Brian Burns, he said all options are on the table. And then he also said we aren't going to be doing contracts, kicking the can down the road, basically throwing haymakers at the past GMs for being stupid with the cap, because we have a lot of dead cap if we cut players like Taylor Moton and Dante Jackson, etc. So those are my thoughts on that. As for Dave Canales, I like the way he's talking about Bryce Young, okay? He's saying he doesn't believe it's a big fix. He just says he wants to put an offense around him to maximize what he's great at. He said he wants the offense to be a downhill running attack, play action, bootlegs. I mean, rolling the quarterback out. I mean, that's how you get a quarterback into rhythm. Frank Reich had none of that. I said this, called in a lot last season and said, hey, man, listen, this Joe Burrow drop back game doesn't work when you don't have elite weapons that you can just complete quick passes to. And I know that's how Tom Brady ran his offense all those years. Well, guess what? It's Tom Brady, and he gets the ball out in a second. So I love hearing that from him. He seems confident in what he's doing. And then Dan Morgan also said, we're going to take best player available at pick 33. And right as that comes out, a new report comes out that T. Higgins is available for trade. The Bengals are looking for a first rounder or a second plus. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, man, we have pick 33. It's literally a first round pick. All right. It's literally a first round pick. Why not tell me on this podcast the pros and cons right now from all three of you of what the pros are of trading for T. Higgins, that 33rd pick for T. Higgins. I know Dan says best player available, but I mean, he's a young guy who's proven that he can get 1,000 yards. He's done it twice in his career, and he's been the second option on the team. Give me your thoughts on that. I'm all in on this T. Higgins thing, but I also like everything that these guys are saying so far. I'm going to continue to stay neutral, but I like what I'm hearing. Anthony from Charlotte, keep motherfucking pounding.
Hey, keep pounding. So we have to talk about this. Great segue by our boy Anthony. Appreciate you, Anthony. What would you guys rather do? Get a wide receiver that everybody kind of says is on our level, a Calvin Ridley or whatever. Maybe you can go at pick 33 and draft a Lad McConkey, Tony Dunn's draft crush, or his early draft crush of the 2024 season? Or would you all rather spend the 33rd pick and get somebody that you know has top tier wide receiver talent in T. Higgins? And that is the rumor swirling right now that they are looking. They've placed a tag on T. Higgins, and they are looking to potentially move him for a first or second rounder. We have the first pick of the second round. And Tony, I'll tell you right now, I'll answer Anthony. I'm all for it. We already spent a second round pick on a wide receiver last year, and none of us really loved the results for that. Now, I'm not saying that we can't find a young, dynamic wide receiver in the draft. No, in fact, I know that's possible. But as I told you, Tony, if we don't think that we're going to be a contending team in the next year or two, then I would rather see this offense put up some points and give Bryce Young a real weapon to be able to throw the ball to, so that way we know what type of player we have in our quarterback. Get him that Mike Evans of our offense for Dave Canales to be able to use at his disposal. I'm all for it, man. You have to pay to play, and I think Higgins would be a perfect addition to our offense.
I have a concern, though. T. Higgins, I know Burrow wasn't there, but Jamar Chase wasn't there either, and T. Higgins wasn't putting up lights out numbers last year. So when the focus was on T. Higgins, he still wasn't the guy in Cincinnati. And so, not saying that it's not possible for him to be a good. I mean, we've seen him make incredible catches, but he's also had the benefit for a majority of his career of being the number 2 guy behind Jamar Chase, who has been rightfully so garnering an incredible amount of attention.
Sure. I just don't know that you can put all of that on Higgins, though.
No, I mean, like I said,
right?
They were dealing with second string quarterbacks and things along those lines. And to be fair, I mean, the argument could also be made. You look at his career, and even with Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, obviously having Jamar be his favorite target, he still had 2,000-yard seasons while Jamar Chase was the number 1 wide receiver. Last year just was a concern because he had a slump. He missed 5 games due to injury. He only had 600 and some odd yards, but he's consistently had 6 or 7 touchdowns a year. Again, I'm not too sure that. I mean, T. Higgins is a fantastic number 2 wide receiver. I just don't know that he is the Mike Evans that you're expecting him to be.
Well, again, we do the player comparison things, Mike Evans.
6'4", 220.
I just made the body type, right? You're going to be able to throw a ball up to him, and he's going to come down with it. The dude doesn't drop passes. He's a big body, tough, aggressive wide receiver. He's a better route runner than he's given credit for. I just think that he would be, in my opinion, everything that we all hoped that Devin Funchess would be. That's a name you haven't heard in a while. But Devin Funchess and T. Higgins, when we drafted Fun, it was to be that bigger body, go up and get the ball type of receiver, whereas T. Higgins is that. He is that dynamic type of wide receiver, and I feel like that would be great for Bryce right now. We have to know what we have in Bryce.
He started only 11 games this season, so that's some of the reason for the statistical decline. He had an 80-yard touchdown, though, this season. My answer is it's kind of going to be a sit the fence one. If it is just us asking, would you trade T. Higgins, trade a 33rd pick for T. Higgins? The answer is yes.
Yeah, if it was just an outright, but we know that's not going to be an outright just trade for 33rd.
You really think so?
It would be a 33rd. I mean, we would probably have to give up Brian Burns and a 33rd.
That's too.
I don't think so, because then they would have to sign Brian Burns. They're trying to. They just can't afford to sign him.
They can't afford to sign. They can't. Here's the problem. They can afford to. They can't afford T. Higgins money. Like when you're talking about what the wide receivers are going for, right? I don't think that. And I think that he's going to learn. Brian Burns is going to learn very quickly that the market for him isn't $30 million. It's just not. The market isn't going. Nobody's going to pay him $30 million. Unless they're a bad team, which is he going to want to go and play for another bad team is the question mark. The other part of this is, in my opinion, if I'm the Bengals, number one, we already have reports that T. Higgins will not play on the franchise tag. So they're going to have to either get a deal with him or trade him. So his trade value is going to take a dip because of that. But
Which is
at
good
the same
for us.
time, it is good for us. But I think at the same time, they're going to they understand we're going to be desperate, and our trade value, like our ability to leverage that, is going to be inconsequential. That 33rd isn't as valuable as people think it is. It's not valuable, but it's not worthy of. I mean, T. Higgins was a second round pick too.
Yeah, but
Well, let's just say
33rd pick that they used it.
Say you didn't have to give much up, and say, all right, say you had to give a fifth to, who.
It would be more than that.
I'm not going to really care. But really, it comes down to how much the contract will be when you sign him. Right now, the good news is that he is a player who is very good, who has a lot of good football ahead of him. So paying him is not an outlandish idea. I mean, is like, would you rather spend $2 million more on him per year than Calvin Ridley? Okay. Yeah. I'm talking, yeah. Right.
That's what Kev says. He says keep the 33rd and sign Pittman and Ridley.
Okay. See, I think it just comes down to when you make that trade, you cannot make that trade unless you have already met with the agent and worked out the deal. Like, that's requisite for the trade. Like, you have to know what you're getting into.
What is what would be an equivalent wide receiver T. Higgins would demand similar money to?
Amari Cooper.
Okay.
No?
Yeah, maybe around that.
I mean, that's who I kind of think of him like, isn't like an Amari Cooper type.
I mean, I'm
player.
thinking $20 to $23 million.
But he's going to be trying to take advantage of the inflation too. Did you hear Justin Jefferson wants a $150 million contract?
Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper has, and this is this year. Obviously, this is an old contract that he had with the Cowboys, but Amari Cooper is $20 million right now.
I mean,
and the salary cap haven't gone up since then. He's got a cap hit. I'm sorry, his total cap hit is $24 million. So I'm telling you that I can promise you that if T. Higgins if we're comparing him to Amari Cooper, he is going to be 100% close to 30, if not over.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe.
I mean, yeah. I mean, and that's where it's hard for me to answer the question. Is the trade part's the easy part, the contract's the next part. And then the last part, though, is like, oh, well, you can get these guys in the draft. Well, I've heard of other teams doing that.
Yeah, other teams.
I ain't never gotten no Cooper Cup, So, is the nice thing about that is it's a proven asset, and that you don't have the, it's almost like these teams.
Ooh.
We have the luxury of hoping to hit in the draft.
I have probably a better comparison.
Who is it?
Mike Williams on the Chargers.
Yeah.
Ooh,
hey,
but Mike Williams injury prone. Both are free agents.
But
some people are saying Higgins is injury prone after last year.
Well,
maybe we want Mike Williams for a year.
Mike Williams' cap dollars are $32 million.
Clemson Tigers, baby. Either way,
he's going to be a free agent now.
But they're going to cut him, right?
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Receivers are. Hey, look, if you can't afford to pay Burns, if it's just a financial thing, it's hard to say that you have the money to pay a wide receiver. But really, it's not about just dollar for dollar. It's where do you allocate the dollars and what type of player do you allocate them to? So it's not like, can the Panthers afford to pay Brian Burns? It's not if Brian Burns shouldn't want to be paid a high amount of money. It's just, do you see that as the proper allocation of funds at the moment? And for me, I mean, gosh, what are you going to do? I don't know. I don't know if I would sink a ton of money into a guy just yet in any position. I would be kind of trying to sign a Ridley or a Pittman or a Williams for a 1 or 2 year, couple year deal, and then trying to hit somebody in the draft.
It seems like whether it's Brian Burns, a big name wide receiver like T. Higgins, or even a wild card like Derek Brown, we're probably going to be paying a $27+ million contract before the start of the season.
Who do you think, if you paid the top tier money, right? Like if we paid Brian Burns 30 and we paid T. Higgins 32, because I mean wide receivers make a little bit more, right? Than outside linebackers.
I don't know.
What's
Outside
the franchise
linebackers,
tag on a wide
premium.
receiver? Is it higher than $24 million?
I'll look it up.
Which would be the bigger overpay? 30 million for T. Higgins or 30 million, for Brian Burns? That would be my question. Chat, get in there. Do you believe who would be the bigger overpay? Say you paid one of them
$22 million is the
salary cap. So it's lower. The franchise tag is $2 million lower because Brian Burns would have been 24. So who would be? Say you paid either one of these guys $30 million right on the dot. Who's the bigger? Who do you walk away saying got overpaid more?
Between Burns and Higgins?
Yeah.
Higgins.
Really?
Okay. Burns.
Wow.
Yeah, Higgins for me, mainly because I think that Higgins has the idea of paying
years old.
Yeah, the idea of paying. I mean, he's young. Don't get me wrong.
He's younger than Burns.
He would be the best number 2. He's similar to DJ Moore, in my opinion. One of the best number 2 wide receivers in the league.
Okay. In my opinion, T. Higgins has had more than one season of 1,000 yards.
I know.
And Brian Burns has only had one season of 10+ sacks. So I'll take the offensive production.
I kind of lean that way, but both numbers
of Burns, man.
The argument, the problem though with the Burns thing is it's so much circumstance surrounding that. I think you could say the same about Higgins, but the circumstance surrounding our defense is that we weren't really. I mean, I would guarantee you, if you look at the past 4 years, we probably have been passed on less than any other team in the NFL by a large margin. And so the opportunity for Brian Burns to get sacks has not been there, mainly off of the opportunity.
Well, a lot of times it's been there, and he just can't.
He's almost. We've said he's the king of almost. We've said that for a long time, but I don't know. Like I think that there's still a comparison that I think is worthy of being made there.
Who would move the needle for the team more in a positive direction? Would
by the way,
having Brian Burns next year or T. Higgins next year help the team in the short term?
I think Higgins, being that you have Bryce Young as your quarterback, and it shows that you're getting a brand new weapon for him to be able to thrive. By the way, shout out to Kev. Higgins is listed as $18.6 million a year, according to SpotRack. They had Ridley at $17 million. So if
this is all bullshit.
Yeah, this $18 million. If it was $18 million, they would have gotten the job done and not franchise tagged him for $4 million more than this average salary would be.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
And then next year, their average, the salary is going to go up. So if they could lock him down for $18 million, they'd do it in a heartbeat right now, instead of waiting until the salary cap goes up again next year. And now that number is going to go up.
I agree.
But don't we agree though that if they signed T. Higgins, that would be a bigger splash off season wise?
Oh yeah,
than Burns.
Oh no, I don't disagree. I think that's also
it's a matter of
it's a new toy. Yeah, exactly. I think that has. We've been complaining about Bryce not having weapons, and we don't feel like Brian Burns has been as much of an impact on this defense. If we can keep Burns, I think that it's one of these situations. I can almost promise you he's going to go to another team and ball out. If he goes to a good team, he has another guy on the other side of him, I think Burns is going to have an incredible year, and we're going to be regretting that.
I think he goes to Detroit. Or that's where, well, I mean, I guess he's not going anywhere. He's going to be franchise tag. He's going to play under the tag. That's what I think is really going to happen.
For Burns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could still trade for T. Higgins and franchise tag Brian Burns. The question is, can you work out that money? Would require that Taylor Moton restructure for sure at the minimum. Will Dante Jackson be part of the plan going forward? The number's 252-228-5098. Let's take some more calls.
3 years.
C3 Mafia Paisans. How you doing on this lovely fucking
Paisan.
fucking shitty ass fucking foggy fucking Tuesday? At least that's what it's like over here. Anyway, I gotta agree with Tony. This is like the fucking worst part of the fucking year talking football. I know a lot of you guys can fucking go on and on about drafting and combine results and how fast that cocksucker can run and yada yada yada, free agents. Yeah, I don't really care until training camp. So this phone call gonna be a little different. I thought maybe let's do a little mock draft, but with Italian food. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
So I'm gonna give you
Tony's
3
ready.
picks: penne vodka sauce, chicken cutlet with spaghetti and red sauce, and yeah, Tony, it's sauce. SAWSE.
Oh,
Not
good.
fucking gravy. You keep that shit at the fucking Thanksgiving table.
and
And then the third one, a heavy dish, lasagna. So you got penne vodka, chicken cutlet, spaghetti, and lasagna. My top, I'm going to go chicken cutlet, obviously, with spaghetti. Grew up on that shit, love it. Then penne vodka sauce. And then I'm going to go lasagna because, I love lasagna, but it's fucking heavy. Every time I eat it, I feel like a fucking fat slob, all bloated and shit. Anyway, what say you, boys? All right, give me your top three. All right, I got to go.
So we
ooh.
put them in order?
Yeah.
Man, I'm
So-
probably saying number 1, chicken cutlets. Number 2, lasagna.
This
And
is
then
my-
number 3, the penne and vodka sauce.
Yeah, that's my order.
Lasagna is one of the best.
My
things
grandma
ever.
makes, but he is right. Like my dad always jokes this is that my dad's a Southerner and he married into the family, adopted me. It's awesome. He's a great dude. But he's like, dude, you eat a piece of their grandma's lasagna, it's like a fucking lead brick on your stomach. And you're like this, you're in a coma over there. TK, you had vodka sauce before?
No.
It's just like a cream sauce. It's kind of like
Never.
a pink. It's kind of like a pink sauce a little bit. It's like
My
a little cream,
favorite-
a little red. It's good. It's good. Got a little a prosciutto, right? Not prosciutto, pancetta. Pancetta, excuse me. That is a dope. God, that's kind of a sleeper that I wasn't raised on though. Like that is an Italian dish that you get in Italian restaurants that's super popular now, but my grandma never made anything with cream sauces. Like it was always just the red gravy.
Sauce.
The sauce, as he says.
Sauce.
The sauce. The
Not
sauce.
gravy.
You want some gravy? Hey, you
Is
want
that
some-
you, redneck?
Oh no! It's a.
By
he's
the
a
way,
New
my
Jersey
favorite Italian
That
dish-
motherfucker, New Jersey Italian. This is a New
Yeah,
York.
my
Italian.
favorite Italian dish. He might laugh at me. Lobster ravioli with pink creamy sauce.
Okay. All right. Here is a.
Hey, can we not-
sleeper.
Can we do this? I'm gonna walk
Are
away
you
from
hungry?
I am not eating carbs, and so like you guys are talking about pasta and all that. I'm like, I'm not eating bread or any
fuck
noodles or anything
Dude,
like
tonight
that.
I had
I
some
just work
Texas
out
toast.
more. I just exercise more. I used
Oh
to.
man,
Okay. Oh, go
mine's a
ahead.
matter of like sugars and stuff like that. I'm trying to keep those low. So
All right. Al the Sailor. Look, my grandmother makes the fucking meanest eggplant parm. And as a kid, I didn't like it. I was like, ew, the eggplant. Fucking incredible. But here is my secret, my draft sleeper for Italian food. And it's the potato croquette. And the potato croquette is day old mashed potatoes, right? Or what you do is you make them. She usually doesn't use mashed potatoes. She'll make them specifically to make croquettes. And you take basically, you try to make mashed potatoes, but you don't want them to be creamy. You want them to be stiffer, right? Like more baked potato-y than creamy mashed potato-y. Then you season them, Parmesan cheese, salt, pepper, parsley, and you bread them like a chicken cutlet, and you fry them in these little oval football shape joints. And they are like, think of like a fried food with mashed potatoes on the inside. Dude, I run away. I run away with the plate. When my grandma makes these mugs, I run away. People are like, where'd all the potato croquettes go? Tony's in the bathroom, just like, and then this was funny. Paisan is my brother-in-law opened an Italian restaurant here in Greenville, Familia. You guys go check out Familia. Great pizza, great pasta, great prices. My son waits tables there. And he's kind of taken some of my grandmother's kind of recipes and put his own spin on them. Right. So he's like, look, we can't make the eggplant parm like you make it in the cast iron skillet. We got to deep fry, like we got to be able to do it faster. They make him and my grandmother did not fucking budge on this conversation at Christmas. I think it was Christmas when we had this. And she goes, do you make your croquettes in circles or oblong? And he goes, circles. They look like a little meatball. She's like, that's wrong. She would not fucking budge. Loved it. She's right. Pan fried croquettes in the cast iron. Can't beat it. The number's 252-228-5098. Let's take another call.
We have a request.
What up,
okay,
y'all?
Go ahead.
No, we have a Diddy from Sanford was wondering if we could get to his second call. He's 0430. Maybe the next one.
Yeah, let me take these. Let me get this call in, and then I'll search it out.
Okay.
This is Mossy Man 79 News. I don't have the C or cancer. I'm going to be doing some tests.
Hey, shout out Mossy.
In the next couple weeks in March. See what's really going on. But I love you, C3 boys. You know who you reached out, man. And sisters too. God bless. Thank you. My question is, I'm gonna be real. We're gonna win 6 games, maybe 8 max, 4 to 8, 4 minimum, 8 max. I think our new coach from Carson. I'm gonna be going to his family's area in Carson in Harbor, and I'm gonna be representing. Hopefully, he could reach out to me. We could do something. It's not as cool, but I love C3 Nation. It's the best, but I love all Panther content. But we need, my personal opinion, is we need to trade Brian Burns for some picks, not franchise him or whatever else, man. And also, I haven't, since I, went through my medical issue, I don't know what we need, but we need a good offensive makeup in the offensive line for Bryce Young, whether it's receiver line or tight end or whatever. And we need to kind of beef up the defense a little bit to help Derrick Brown. From what I've seen the last couple of days, Derrick Brown and I think Brian Burns wanted Evero and his staff back and what they got. So I hope the D is good. Much love to you, Tony the Professor. Cody, you're a real man. D's, love you, bro. Pickle, you're a blessing. And everybody else in the C3, I love you guys. God bless. And keep pounding, baby.
Keep pounding, man. Shout out to Mossy.
Hold on, he's got one little last 8-second thing to say.
Yo, I forgot. First time caller, long time listener and supporter. Mossy Man 789 News. God bless C3 Panther Nation. Bye.
Hey, God bless. Shout out
Great
to
news,
Mossy
man.
Man. Yeah, he had a bit of a health scare. Thought maybe
and the 2 worst words too.
Man.
Like it's like it could be colon or pancreatic, and you're like, oh shit.
And we're happy you're healthy, man.
Yeah.
And thank you for your call, man. We're getting more and more first-time callers, more and more first-time attenders on the free-for-all. Dude, C3 is for the fans, man. Mossy, we appreciate you. And he's another proponent of trading Brian Burns, man. It seems like there's a lot more of them.
All right. D from Sanford. I got you. He said the second call, right? I got him.
Yep.
What's up, my C3 family? This is D from
Dude.
I had called earlier, and shout out to the whole team. I'm not going to run it down with the whole rundown. But while this show's been going on, I saw a tweet from the D's and the other C3 members that, like, welcome me on the spaces and in the C3 family, just like the podcast itself and the community has. And I got a little emotional. I mean, a lot of people don't know my story yet. I'm still getting to know some of y'all, but was in the Marines, was at the Pentagon when it got hit, dealt with that. I
Wow.
talked about some of the things I've struggled with. And I've always been looking for a community, a family, like-minded, good character people. And that's what C3 is. C3 is good people. I love talking football and all that, right? But every time I get on here and I call y'all, it's therapeutic. And then sometimes in the chat when somebody just wants to hear my voice or a kind word or an optimistic look at something, I'm so happy and proud that I can contribute to that.
Hey.
And one of the things that just really got me choked up is just the fact that y'all took me open arms. Y'all let me be in space, man. D's and Panther Pickle and Ant and G Baby and all that, man. Like, y'all mean the absolute world to me. Tony, see, y'all gave me a family when I was looking for something. And as we get ready for this year, I'm going to give everything I can to keep us uplifted and have good talk and do great things and stuff. And I find the need just about every time I get on here to just want to say thank you. But when I tell y'all that I love every single one of y'all from the bottom of my heart, I sincerely, hey, we're going to get better, man.
Yes, sir.
Keep pounding. And like I said, man, I just wanted to say thank you for family, man. Y'all keep pounding, man.
Keep pounding. Shout out, dude. Man, what a dude. Man, he's going to make me cry, man.
This
Dude.
picture meant the most. Like, this is one of my favorite pictures I've taken at a Panther event. Because it's what that is like none of us had really either, like very few of us, maybe Cody and CK out of this group are the only two people I'd ever met in person. Right. Yeah. But that is like, that's really all I ever look. If I made this show about me, it wouldn't still exist. You know, it just wouldn't. Is that like the amount of energy that you have to put in? Like the times that I'm like, oh God, I'm so tired. I got to do this show tonight. Cody's got the shit set up, right? It's like, but it has never been about me or us talking to you, but talking with you. And I do think that really is like we've stayed pretty true to that. Yeah, you know, man. I mean, and D's call right there, I think supports that. That
we don't speak for other content creators and what their content is, but C3 is about the C3 Panther fans coming together like we're going to the game, talking football, including everybody, man. Like everybody that we get the opportunity to continue to do this with every Friday, every Tuesday, listening to D, give that type of optimism, man. How does that not uplift you, man? We have some incredible fans, man. We're happy to continue to do this for y'all, man. It means a lot to us because it means a lot to y'all.
We got a great picture too of us doing the podcast at Monster Subs in Spartanburg. Food's fantastic, by the way, there. But like that was a special. We had a really sadly the season that it sucked so bad on the back end of it really sucked the wind out of that year of C3. But we were kicking it off like a mug. We went to training camp. We had the on a location podcast. We got
your boy was in the Charlotte Observer. What's up?
Yeah, I know. Like we were just rocking, and then all of a sudden the Panthers weren't. But
shout out to D, man.
When I saw Kev, my bastard son, walk in the bar, and we like hugged like we were long lost family. He said, "I finally got to meet my dad." Yeah, that was the first time I had ever met Greg in person.
For real?
Yeah,
that is true.
But one thing though is that when we went through that fucking pandemic, I was locked, set, and loaded for the pandemic, bro. I was like, I've been building
we were veterans
in a community for this moment right here where we, like my wife and her friends were trying to do those like little hangout parties. I was like, bitch, I got this under control. It's Tuesday night, motherfucker. I'm hanging out with my friends. Let's take another call here.
Shout out, D. We love you, brother.
Absolutely.
Hey, everybody. It's G. Cavassier. How y'all doing?
What up, G?
Hey, man. I'm
Another
going to get
legend.
straight to the point of my opinion. This Brian Burns shit, I'm so sick and tired of talking about this shit. Either we're going to tag him, we're going to tag and trade him, or we're going to extend his contract. But this shit got to stop because this shit is like, to me, it's a damn distraction. It really is. And I'm at the point now, I'm at the point, and maybe you guys can agree with me. How in the fuck did we get to this damn point? How, man? This shit is just chaos to me. But another thing that I would like to see, and I'm going big on this, what the hell we got to do to get Hassan Reddick back, man? Like, for real. What the hell do we have to do to get Hassan Reddick back in Carolina? And another person I wouldn't mind seeing coming to Carolina is Bobby Wagner. Now, see, with those two dudes right there, pair them up with damn Frankie Louvu, whoo, that shit would be deadly. To see Shaq is coming back. Now, my thing, do we really want Shaq back? With this new coaching staff, do we really want Shaq back? And I'm with you, damn Cody. We got to do something with this offensive line, man. And with the right guard, the dude that came out of the Rams, and the professor, you were right. He's coming off of 2 injuries. I think he's fucking done. And which means we got to find a fucking right guard. There's a lot of things that we need to damn do, but give me your thoughts on that, man. And with Mike Evans, I would like him to come to Carolina, but I seriously doubt that shit happens. I can see Calvin Ridley, and I damn sure can see Hollywood Brown. You add them 2 brothers up there, woo, that would be something. Give me your thoughts on that, y'all. Keep pounding.
Do you want Shaq Thompson back for Shaq Thompson or because of the nostalgia of a guy that you drafted that was associated with the 2015 Panthers team?
Yeah. I don't want to be
played his best football in the last couple of years. I will give him that. I was so out on Shaq. I had too many. It's not his fault. I had too high hopes for this mug to begin. And then like when you put over, it's kind of like with Bryce. It's like, you expect this motherfucker to be Joe Montana from day one. And then you're like, underwhelmed. That's how it was with Shaq. I was like, I bought Shaq's jersey. Shaq is the first player I ever bought their jersey before they, actually, that's a lie. Julius Peppers, my wife bought me the jersey before when he was drafted. But, Shaq Thompson's the first jersey since then I bought before they played a snap. Usually I'm like, man, I need to see how this mug is. So, do we bring back Shaq or not?
I don't know, man. Like, he's kind of long in the tooth at this point.
I mean, who else is gonna? I mean, he might. I mean, he'll be.
But how long are we gonna?
Team-friendly deal last time.
I know, man, but I'm at the point where, thank you for your services, but I'm ready to get younger and upgrade these positions in a more meaningful way. I don't know. I mean, do y'all want it back? Like, Dude, at this point, I'm so indifferent. Like, if he does, all right, cool, man. He's the most tenured veteran on our team, damn near, and he knows how to do his thing. But I don't.
What did he do?
I don't
Break
think that
his
it's
leg?
impossible. I don't think
Ooh,
it's
I can't
impossible to upgrade. Didn't he break his shin bone or something?
Yeah, like his
something like
tibula
that.
or something like that, or fibula, whatever the one that was in your leg. Bless you. I'm kind of with you as indifferent. Like, I think having him as a veteran piece would be first good, but to like expect him to be a significant contributor might be too optimistic. I don't know. I'm with you. Indifferent's a great word.
Yeah, I don't really care. Like, if he comes back, all right.
Because he actually was doing a lot to win me back. Like, because I was like, ugh, I'm all, and Shaq took a lot because he got paid when we chose to pay him over Bradbury.
Yeah.
Right. And then we saw Bradbury go have some success. And then Shaq was not playing well, or at least the Panthers weren't. But then Matt Rule came in, and all of a sudden he played some of his better football. And you're like, oh shit, is this guy having a Thomas Davis resurgence? And then this last year was mired by injury. Could have really needed him, because then the question is, was Frankie Louvu's play, is it fair? Some people are saying he wasn't a great tackler, this and that. Is he had to play inside linebacker a lot, or play out of position. So I don't know. It's like, I would rather have Shaq Thompson than Deion Jones, though. So
Again, I'm indifferent. It's like, I don't know. I would love if Shaq would take another team-friendly deal, and he would have no choice. It's not like someone else is signing him for more. So if he comes back, awesome. If he ends up moving on, thank you for your service, brother.
Hey, Bill Craven said, I found my Keyshawn Johnson's Panthers jersey a while back. This jersey right here is a Tim Biakabatuka jersey I'm wearing right now. Take that. My uncle did give it to me like later on, so it wasn't from when Tim Biakabatuka was actually playing, but this is a throwback right here. Let's take another call.
Evening, boys. It's Nick from Seattle. What it do? Let's get right into it. I hope we can now put to rest all of the Icky to guard conversation, because our GM and head coach both said he's playing left tackle. So let's completely stop talking about moving Icky to guard.
I refuse.
Think about it. Not a single football person has ever said that. Not one. It's always been the podcast,
not true.
the online talking heads. Not one single football person has said he's moving to guard. So let's
Not
put
true.
this to rest. Moving forward, loved what I heard out of the GM and the coach today. The way Canales spoke about holding the team accountable and not fixing Bryce Young. We need to fix what's around him. I really like that. He sounds like he's got so much positivity in terms of what he wants to do and how this offense is going to be built. It makes me excited to see what we can really do. Dan Morgan, same as ever. That man is, if you could say anything about that man, he's consistent as fuck. He came to the table today talking about, we need those dogs. Chuba's going to be our lead back. This is how we need to build our team. Here's our priorities in terms of options with free agents. Anything's on the table with Brian Burns. I like the way they're thinking. It sounds like they have a good mentality of what they want to go forward, but they're not focused so deeply on their own opinion being right that they're not willing to see the leaves through the trees, so to say. One thing that drives me nuts about Tepper is that Tepper comes in here and just flops his nuts on the table and says, we need to win now. Do whatever you can to win right now. That's not how the NFL fucking works. And now we've been in this bullshit mediocrity cycle since Tepper took over, trading away 10 plus draft picks over the years, all trying to get the quarterback position right. And it still isn't right. Granted, I'm not against Bryce Young, but I'm not sold on him yet either. I'm really excited to see how the rest of the offseason develops. And it's Tony, I'm in the same boat as you. The next couple months are going to be a nightmare just listening to all the nobodies talk about what could happen. I just want to see what actually happened, and then let's move forward from there. Keep up the good work, boys. Keep pounding.
Good call. Good call
Keep
tonight.
pounding. And by the way, I refuse to believe that it's crazy or that you have to be a football person to say that it should be a left guard, man. I'm watching
he didn't
football.
say you have to be. He said no football people have. Just
Yeah, but which is
commentators.
also not true. They said that before he came out in the draft that he could be a left tackle, or if that didn't work out, he could be an all-pro guard. I don't know if it's fair to say that we wanted to see more of Bryce before we think that he is the guy going forward. After last year, I need to see a lot more from Ikem Ekwonu to say that he's going to be the left tackle going forward. And I don't think that's unfair. I think that's very fair.
All right. Let's take the last. Well, we only got 2 more calls.
Yo, my C3, Sanford, North Carolina. So I'd come in and hit y'all for a minute. Shout out to the great Tony Dunn, to the homie Cody Lack, to CK, Code Dizzle. Shut the hell up, Panther Pickle. Everybody knew G Baby, that effing guy, Muscles Marinara, the lovely Kristen Ledane, the Blind Panther. I'm not gonna use the whole time, but yo, C3, Anthony, Ricky Raines, D's. Yo, I love y'all to death. But
Yes, sir.
I was looking at that press conference today. I think some of the things that I really truly enjoyed was the
Last year was
transparency
more
from
than a
Dan
bad
Morgan.
development year, man.
I didn't feel like he was trying to blow smoke up our rear ends. I really felt like he was really being honest to where he was at the time. I also enjoyed the fact that he said even though he really did not have a relationship with Brent Tillis before now, he said you would not even be able to tell when you see how they navigate through the office, prioritizing, talking to Brown's agent, and trying to get Louisville. All of those things there. I really like you're showing me parts of a plan that's developing, and I love that. The other thing with Canales when he was talking about dedicating to the run, how observant, how invested he's already become in the process. I love the guy. I think that if we give him time, we could see some great things. Also, in that same breath, I like the statement that he made about not fixing Bryce Young, but aiding, in so many words, Bryce Young. And that made me highly excited. And Panther family, you know what's really got me excited? Like a post that reminded me of this. The last time the great number 1, Cameron Newton, got into a nice little scuffle, we had a remarkable year the next year. So I'm looking forward to this season. Maybe there's some luck in Cam throwing some guys around like a damn softball. But at the end of the day, y'all hit the like, subscribe, share this from the longest running and the dopest Panther podcast on YouTube, the internet, in these streets, yo. Hey, I just want to tell y'all I love y'all from the bottom of my heart. We got this combine and stuff coming up. Hey, it's going to be a lot of talk. I'm just ready for the ball to start rolling. Hey, just one more thing. Keep pounding.
Hey, keep pounding, brother. Deep, great calls tonight, man. You are the MVP of the cat calls tonight. Tony, do you think it's time we talk about this Cam Newton business?
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about this.
Yeah, let me get make sure we get the right video. But
all right, so to set this up, and I don't know a ton about it. I just know that Cam has been hosting the 7-on-7 event where I guess it's for high school kids. And he's been doing this for a long time. I mean, back when he was a Panthers player.
Yeah.
And it's been a big deal. It's like really kind of an initiative for him to reach out to kids at a young age to get them introduced, kind of building connections. This is Cam Newton's version of like the Peyton Manning events that they have. The camps they have from that, and you'll be like, oh, Andrew Luck attended Bryce Young.
By the way,
attended.
a lot of bigger names have come through Cam Newton's quarterback camps. Justin Fields, Bo Nix from this year's draft class. But Cam Newton was doing a 7-on-7. And the guys that attacked him have since come out and done an interview. And we'll get into that in a minute. But basically, I want you to notice that Cam Newton, you never see him throw a punch. On 3 dudes that are coming at him and attacking him, Cam, not only does he never throw a punch, but that hat never comes off his head like the Undertaker boy. Look, not throwing a punch. Everyone's just wrestling with him. Cheap shotting the shit out of him. But what are you thinking, man? Fighting a 6'6"
at his event,
55-pound Cam Newton at a 7-on-7.
Who is this
event?
guy with the white shirt? Can we play it again? Look at the white shirt dude that comes in and throws this punch at the end. He's gonna come right here. Here he comes.
Yeah.
Who's he trying to hit? Is he helping Cam?
No, I think they're all
because look,
I don't know.
Then he hangs around.
Yeah, I'm not sure, man.
I want to know if someone can answer. Look, because then he hangs around with back there. Is the guy with the white shirt was punching at the dude attacking Cam? Okay, good, good for him. Look, you know what the least surprising part about this to me is that the hat stayed on. If the hat came off, it would be impossible. He's got like a 2-foot dread fountain coming up through.
Yeah, the hair is stopping the hat from falling off.
It's like it is locked in. The other thing is, and I don't want to use any words that are going to be misconstrued in the wrong way, because these guys, look, the guy's got his hoodie up that's fighting Cam right here. Like, he just doesn't look like he was there with. You're in Atlanta. I mean, is it cold or something? Is like, what is his intention? Is he trying to look tough? Is he trying to be tough?
These 2 dudes have since been on a radio station and said that Cam Newton
grabbed his brother.
Yeah, that Cam Newton had been shit talking them. He was talking at him, and then Cam Newton grabbed him, put his hands on him. So then the other dude was like, well, that's basically like my little brother or whatever. So then he just ran up.
It was his actual
on him. I don't know if it was like his brother or if it was his actual brother. I'm not sure. The dude runs up and cold cocks Cam Newton.
Tries to.
Side of his head. Yeah, tries to.
I mean, he tried to hit him. I think he looked like he he landed 2 punches.
But then there was a video.
Cam doesn't even flinch.
No. Well, there was a video that surfaced.
Oh, have you seen the funny one?
Like a day before. Well, no, a day before, the dude that sucker punched him put out a video talking shit about Cam Newton being that Atlanta quarterback that can't throw the ball.
I thought that was after the fight. I thought that was directly
after that was before. So there was some beef that had went down between them that had boiled over in that moment, apparently. I have no idea who either of them are.
That's the thing is that these mugs, they're riding coattails in the first place. Their TSP training or whatever the hell they're, is like, who are these dudes and what the real fuck do they really know about football? Who knows? Maybe that. I just thought this is to go on the radio afterwards and to only take the position of having done everything that your actions being justified. Like, the only thing they said they were sorry for is that the kids saw that shit. Like, what they didn't say is we could have been more professional. We could have had, and I know that look is that you don't want people, somebody talks shit to you, somebody does something wrong to you. It's hard to be the bigger man all the time. But you tried to punch the bigger man, literally. And then he dragged your ass all around. I don't know. It comes back to these things where Do you remember those kids shit talking Cam back in the day? You remember?
Are you talking about last year?
Yeah, was it last year?
Yeah, at that camp, it was like like 7 years, like 7th graders.
Yeah, and
Cam has now been through like 4 different interactions with some wildly disrespectful little shit kids.
Mm-hmm.
I just tend to think that this is kind of us accepting a I don't want to say the world's getting worse because it's not getting worse, but like, where is the ultimate respect for the guy that's putting on the camp? So what? You know what I'm saying? Like, here is the thing: is Cam Newton historically has gravitated to black people more than white people, and it makes sense. He's black. You know, is like, of course I would love to go to an event that Cam hosted and he make me his best friend. Actually, I have weird dreams, bro. I have like Panther dreams all the time.
Don't get too visual.
Get weird.
Not graphic.
Yeah,
it's not graphic,
Cam
but
Newton
it's like
dreams.
they're so real that like I had this dream and it was just like I bumped into, and I can't remember if it was like Ricky Prohl or Cam Newton, but it felt like I was like, man, did I really meet a Panther player a couple of weeks ago? And were they nice to me? Like, of course I would want to go to Cam's party and him make me feel like the coolest motherfucker in the room. Of course I want to be the white guy that black people love. But if I go to his party and he doesn't really pay attention, I can't get really upset about it.
No.
And so what I'm saying is these guys, he's hosting this event. And these guys are fucking capitalizing on that moment. You know, swallow your pride a little bit, even if Cam talks. I don't even know if Cam did something wrong, didn't do something wrong. Who knows? But like I just don't think these guys look cool.
No, they don't. And again, like, what kind of credit you getting for this shit? Oh, you had beef with Cam Newton. Look, this is what he was saying. Hold up. Look, this is the clip of what he's saying. He said this the day before.
Thanks, D. It always makes white people feel cool when they're accepted by black people. I don't know.
So look, this is the dude that was talking shit the day before.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, man, I'm going to say it. They can't hide the film now. You know what I'm saying? That 3 times.
You know what I'm saying?
Y'all not throwing that Atlanta hero quarterback.
Just
cannot beat me.
Can't be for.
See, I think that was after. I think he's talking about that he couldn't beat him in the fight, that he didn't beat him up.
No, this is before the incident. Yeah, before the incident.
Hey, Joe.
So, it does say before the incident. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and by the way, this is the dude that Cam Newton was like,
imagine
the back of his hoodie, dragging him around.
Oh, I know. Have you seen here? I'm gonna drop this in the comments. Have you seen the dude who did the spoof on this? If you haven't seen the spoof on hold on, who was it? Where did I see it? Oh, gosh,
I might have it.
I mean, we might not get. Well, it's probably a YouTube thing, so we'll probably get. Where the fuck is it? This guy, I just followed him. Actually, maybe I can go to my follows. Or no, I'd already followed him. Shit. How do you
There's
find
also compilation videos of all the kids that have ever trolled Cam Newton. It's like there's a 4-minute plus long video of Cam Newton fighting on breaking with these kids, man. And look, it comes along with the territory, man. Like, he's trying to do something good for these kids, but inevitably people are gonna talk shit about him because he's a personality, man. He puts himself out there. But this has been something that Cam has done for years, man. These 7-on-7 camps, like, that's a part of how he gives back to his community where he's from, man. So
if I to put no sounds, oh no, you got here. I'm just gonna link it. You guys, if you don't watch this later on, it's by Mr. Go 30, and the guys he's impersonating the dudes that fought Cam. Hold on, let me just show the picture. Look at this. So this is the guy with the twist. And then hold on, this is his brother. Hold on. This is the brother guy. And he calls it projumpers.com. Dude, this shit is so funny, dude. I was dead, man. It's so good. Man, the internet remains undefeated in everything they do. I miss, we love Cam. I mean, this is kind of one of those here's a weird thing about this, though. Even though I still have dreams about Cam Newton,
you don't even want to know.
I had a dream the other night. This wasn't the Cam Newton. This was a Cam Newton, but I had a dream that was so real when I woke up, dude. I had to like touch stuff to make sure I was like, like I needed to be like, oh shit, I'm in a like.
Did you have a spin, one of the tops that you can spin forever and see if you're actually in a dream still?
God, I felt like it, dude. I had to like touch the coffee table and make sure that I was like in a different reality.
You woke up in a cold sweat.
But I mean, it was a wild. It was crazy. But when the Cam Newton shit came about. The fight, I didn't really comment a lot on it.
Yeah.
And which is crazy. I almost feel like I gave all of my energy. It's like I fought for Obama from 2008 to about 2014. Gave all my energy there. I gave all my energy to Cam. I'm out of Cam Newton energy. Like I let the rest of hey, welcome to the fight, internet. Now the Panther internet, the Panther Twitter is taking up what I've been doing since they were fucking in diapers. I let the Panthers Twitter do it now.
It's like Cam Newton's going to defend himself. Now he's such a public persona, now even more so than when he was a football player.
And the funny thing is he hasn't missed yet, by the way. Like he's batting 1,000. Some of those other guys have been talking about in the creator chat. When you look at his take on game managers and all that, now this fight, I mean, even with this fight, I mean, the dude was getting thrown around like a freaking rag doll. I mean, Cam Newton has been on top of the world here lately. Oddly enough.
I want to ask you, CK, because you tend to have the better bead on pop culture than I do. When you see Cam Newton go, we kind of see him like he's trying to open the cigar bar. He's trying to open I don't know if they're still in existence in Atlanta. He kind of falls off the radar a little bit when it comes to the football world. And then you see him go into the YouTube world. We saw him smoking cigars and playing Madden to start. And now he's really invested in his podcast. Right. And in some cases, or some in ways to look at it, is that's a kind of a fall from grace. Right. Is like now you're a YouTuber. But I saw Steve Smith celebrating hitting 100,000 subscribers today. And I don't know if it was YouTube or if it was Twitter or whatever it was. Is it really a fall from grace anymore now? Are these guys, is it kind of the future of owning your own? We see what the Pivot podcast has done.
A lot of these players have their own pod now.
Yeah, but it's different now. Well,
Baltimore has his own. Obviously,
Justin with the boys,
Kelsey brothers, they're doing their thing. Yeah, I mean, this is the future.
Owning your content,
right? But also,
maybe 2 years ago, it felt like Cam Newton was just like trying to figure out what he was doing. Well, but maybe this is a badge of success. Is this the new success? Is this skipping the middleman, CK?
Yes. I mean, the answer to that is just easy yes. That's the benefit of doing that. I mean, is he doesn't have to worry about being canceled, right? Because I mean, that's I was watching Joe Rogan the other day, and that's one of the things that Kid Rock had said on his show is, if he doesn't have sponsors, he doesn't have to worry about being canceled. So, I guess that's part of it, man. He doesn't have to answer to somebody else and telling him that he's doing something wrong,
And you own your content.
Yeah.
You own your library in a sense.
Look at Shannon Sharp. Now, he's okay. So he's a Hall of Famer, but now he's doing interviews with Cat Williams. That's got over 55 million views. Like the game plan has been laid out that when you're done with your career, either you can move into the commentary booth or you can make your own version of the content that you think people want to see. And the fact that you're a former NFL player, it lends credence to that. And people want to see that content and they want to hear what the real athletes have to say. And
it's
I think
reasonably inexpensive.
And Cam Newton has been more relevant in recent years not playing football than he was.
I would say recent months, actually. I would say that Cam Newton had a dip where we weren't thinking about him a lot until he's really invested in the 4th and 1 podcast.
About him this entire season with his
this past year because of the 4th and 1 podcast. I think another thing that's in, and this is where I'm critical of the Panthers. We had this discussion last week where we kind of spiraled into what if the Panthers would buy, us. Is that it's really not that expensive for us. Yeah. For me paying for StreamYard each week, for me buying the equipment, buying the computers, that's a lot on me because I teach for a living. But like the programs are out there. If CK, Cody, and I lived in the same town, we could make this shit like a TV show.
Oh, easy.
Right. Just with OBS. So, like, why is it that the Panthers and these guys aren't leveraging that? It's like low stakes, high rewards. And to be honest, I usually bet on Cam Newton being ahead of things rather than behind. He was a trendsetter. And so I don't think he's late to the party. I think like C3 AP said is like he's hitting where when it's hitting hot right now. You know what is we can't wait to see what he has to say about that fight. Let's take the last call of the night and then we'll finish the show up.
Hey guys, it's the growl that makes them howl, aka Joey the Blind Panther. I haven't called in a while because really there hasn't been much to talk about. I honestly don't know how you guys managed to put together, not only do you put together an episode every week, but y'all still go like 2-3 hours. Y'all act like it's freaking we got a game coming up. Y'all are special. I don't know how y'all do it, but I'm going to call about something I was thinking about at work today. And I was thinking about, what type of leader you need on this team, which I think Bryce Young and Dave Canales and these guys, I think they can be this because they, like Bryce Young isn't into himself. Why would he be? Dave Canales doesn't seem to be into himself. He's just really optimistic about everything, which I love because that's the way I am. But but we need people who think like champions. And what do I mean by people who think like champions? People who never say the word I at a press conference. People like Patrick Mahomes. You never hear Patrick Mahomes. Like when they won that Super Bowl, what do you hear Patrick Mahomes say? We're going to go and win another one. We're going to three-peat. We overcame adversity. We. Okay? Guy, he thinks like a champion. That's why he has won 3 Super Bowls and he isn't even 30 years old yet. You think about Tom Brady. Tom Brady always said we, never I, whenever, things went well for him.
He said a couple of U's
and
in there.
Which is why you look at Aaron Rodgers, hot take, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to win the Jets Super Bowl because he's too into himself. He's not a champion. He doesn't have that mindset. But I think not Frank Reich. I think Dave Canales is going to get us a consistent version of the 30 points in a game, Bryce Young, like we saw in the Packers game. I think he's going to unlock that Bryce Young. And I think we're going to get cooking here. Anyway, guys. Wow.
Good to hear from you, Joey. Good to hear from you, man.
I like the optimism. I think he's saying a lot of things that we all agree with, man. It seems like with how he talks about the offense and
I think
what we want to do
with Canales too.
Yeah.
I continue to believe this about Canales. Like, I want to be annoyed by the oh, I'm so bubbly, I'm so happy, I'm so but I know people that are really like when it's true to them, it doesn't turn off. It's not fake. It's not fraudulent. And I think that's what it is with Dave Canales. And I'm hoping that's what it is. And so I feel good about that. And I do think he brings something to the mindset of a champion. Good call. Good call, Joey. We haven't heard from you in a while. Oh, behind the curtain, look at the C3 Panthers podcast, though. There is a death statement that can happen to our show. And it's where Tony shows up late. We're just about to get started. And I say these infamous words. Oh, not a lot to talk about tonight. I think it's going to be a short show. And every time I say that, it's the longest fucking show we've ever done.
Right now, we're running on pace to end early.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you want to argue about something?
No, I'm good. Honestly, I'm feeling good.
I haven't ate a carb in a week. I'm fucking so hungry. I gotta go to sleep.
I've been going to bed at 8:30 every night.
Oh yeah, because you're fucking hungry.
We need to draft Ladd McConkey.
Oh, God.
Number fucking 33.
Can't go to bed hungry, CK. I'm not good. I drink water.
I'm doing intermittent fasting as well. So
yeah,
I'm not eating between 6 or 7 p.m. and 11 a.m.
Jeez, that's a long stretch, bro.
Yeah, dude.
And you like to eat too.
Yeah.
Because we'll be doing the show and be like, CK be like, sorry, I got the DoorDash here. I got the DoorDash here. All right. Let's see. Was there any? Oh, let's bust through the news real quick.
Yeah, how about this?
You know what? What's more interesting about this is that Josh McCown is named the quarterbacks coach for the Vikings, or is Josh McCown's jaw fake?
I mean, I think there's an argument.
It looks like a GI. It looks like a GI Joe action figure.
Yes, he does, dude. Like, what the fuck is that jaw?
He could cut a boulder in half with his fucking jaw, dude. Yeah.
Bro,
dude, you know the Easter Island heads? They were based off of him.
No shit, dude. I mean, that shit is chiseled.
Yeah, man.
You need a diamond cut blade to fucking imagine going to the dentist and him being like, we gotta get we got a root canal come up. We gotta get your fucking wisdom teeth out. And he's like, oh shit, get me the jackhammer.
Oh, dude. His jaw is so sharp, his words touch you.
It looks like he's got a fucking growth. All right. So McCown is with the Vikings. Quarterbacks coach. I read that they had the same him and Kirk Cousins have the same agent. Anyway,
that makes sense.
All right. This is the schedule for the NFL Combine. And real quick, I don't know why I'm asking the two of you. I know neither of you give a damn about the underwear Olympics, but I guess my question in general to the chat and to whoever wants to answer is, what day are you most excited about watching?
There's only one day. There's only one day to give a fuck about. CK, what
really?
day? Yeah, there's only one day.
That's the 40-yard dash.
Oh no, they do.
They
that
do the
forever.
40-yard every day for every position.
Saturday.
Yeah,
Is this the first mistake that the NFL has made in years?
What do you mean,
Because you want to
yeah.
keep eyeballs, right? So what the NFL is really, really good at is
I put
keeping
the
us.
offensive lineman last. Yeah, who's going to be watching?
So
it?
what the change is they used to have the running backs on Sunday with the offensive line. So they moved all offense, like they moved the skill positions to Saturday. It's almost like they are trying to get big numbers on Saturday because instead of mediocre numbers on Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. I think this might be the first mistake that the NFL has made because the NFL is great at the 24/7 news cycle to where there isn't anything to talk about, but there's always something to talk about.
Right.
And on Sunday, I'm not tuning in to offensive linemen. And to be honest, I don't think I'm interested in Thursday or Friday.
I knew you were going to say that too. Well,
I think Saturday's the only.
No,
look, all right. So maybe for draft heads,
maybe
for draft heads, you're gonna. But just think
yeah,
about
well,
someone who's
saying. Like, especially
kind of.
If you're a Panther, we're looking at those linebackers, man. We're just talking about Shaq Thompson and Deion Jones. That's absolutely on the list for us. Defensive lineman, I wouldn't mind another partner in crime for Derek Brown.
Guess what? I'm not going to find him at the combine, motherfucker.
Dude, we need another defensive back on this team. We need another good tight end. I don't know if that's going to be in the draft this year, but all those.
Should we live stream Saturday?
I mean, I kind of feel like we should.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guess what we're not doing? We're not doing Sunday. We're not doing Thursday. We're not doing fucking Friday.
From what time to what time, though? Because it'll run until 8 p.m. that night, I think. Because they're doing
I feel like we're cut for that cause, bro. I think we're ready for that. I don't know. Oh, well, we don't need to watch quarterbacks.
Yeah, but that'll be the most viewers, though, man, because this is a very this is a very
for us. The Panthers don't give enough fans. Maybe we just do wide receivers, running back.
Viewers will be here, though, man.
All right. Well, then stop asking questions you don't want to answer to.
People don't want to bitch about Drake May and Caleb Williams.
Like, maybe we should trade up for who's the other guy that's climbing now?
Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I hate to tell you this is an unpopular take. It's going to be an unpopular take.
Yeah,
is JJ McCarthy's going to be good?
Why is that not popular?
Well, because look, he's not even in the top 3 prospects.
You've been on him for a while. I remember you talking about him
2 years ago. 2 years ago, man. Yeah. He's got the. So anyway, all right. What? So
everyone's saying he'll be a Falcon.
Let me ask you this. CK's like, please, God damn it, I'm so hungry. Drink some water, CK. He did. Have you seen this guy? 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, whatever. It's got the times listed on it. What would be worse? What would be and I feel like this is another unpopular opinion I have. Would you rather have Justin Fields become a Falcon or them to draft like Drake May or
Justin Fields?
Yeah, I'd rather that.
Dude, if the Charlotte, North Carolina,
or you don't want that to happen?
No, I prefer Fields to be in Atlanta.
Oh man, I'm the opposite.
No. Drake May, a Charlotte-born quarterback, went to North Carolina. Everyone's comparing him to Josh Allen and Justin Herbert, and for him to go to the Falcons, no, thank you.
I don't want none of Justin Fields in my division.
Why?
I've already seen enough of that shit with Mike Vick back in the
you're just having PTSD. You'll be fine.
Yeah, totally. And for all of that,
he's no Mike Vick, Tom.
Okay. All right. What's next? We got a couple of last news, and then we'll ice some mugs up.
Yep. Let's run through the news. Raiders general manager Tom Telesco shuts down Devontae Adams trade rumors. He's a Raider.
Did you hear about that Raider first round pick that?
Yeah, I don't remember his name.
I actually thought that the internet, I thought young little C3 Anthony overflipped about it being meth.
About
He's
what?
like, oh my God. He got caught with less than a gram of, it's like because it was meth that it was that bad. I mean, yeah, you know what's bad is getting caught with drugs and having a gun and this and that. Why didn't that motherfucker swallow it? That is my first question, is why don't you swallow it, folks?
Well, there's a rapper named Juice WRLD, and his plane was about to get searched, and he swallowed all the drugs that he had, and he's fucking dead.
Okay, but under a gram, come on. You can survive that
You
shit.
would swallow meth rocks?
I would rather than go to jail for it.
He's like, well, back in my day, you know.
But the other thing is that like, in the 70s, they would take meth and go play baseball and shit. Like they had methamphetamines like in the fucking in a big jelly bean jar.
By the way, everybody's saying, oh, the Panthers drafted Cam, and Cam's from Atlanta, so it's only fair. Fuck that. We're not playing fair. I don't care. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want that to happen. I'd rather Fields and him be a bum for 2 years for Atlanta.
I'm just saying, folks, if you got less than if you got a little bit of drugs, and what's worse? Going to jail.
Yeah.
Man, you're gonna go to jail on that gun charge. Let's go next. What's next?
Broncos head coach Sean Payton's decision on Russell Wilson's future coming within the next few weeks. There is no decision. His house is up for sale.
Is it?
Yeah, it's already
25 bathroom house.
Yeah, it's like a 12 bathroom house.
Oh man,
8 bedrooms or some shit.
Well, there's bad blood on that one. Like the 2 years ago when he was having a really bad year, there was a whole TikTok series about whether the amount of
he would touchdown before he had a bathroom or something.
Yeah, if he would have more touchdowns than he did bathrooms or not.
Oh yeah. Where does he go?
My money is on.
I don't know. There's
Patriots,
so many teams that have their guy.
Pittsburgh.
Patriots could be a good one.
Pittsburgh's
a good one.
Yeah. Okay. Oh well, no, the Patriots don't have Bill no more, so I don't even know what the fuck they're gonna be like. Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they have they have Gerard Mayo. Gerard Mayo.
So what? I don't know nothing about that motherfucker.
So why would they not want Russell Wilson?
Okay, I'm just saying Bill could work with Russell.
If you're the Patriots, you would rather. I mean, as
he wouldn't have no fucking office in Bill's.
You would
house,
rather have Russell Wilson than what's his name, Matt Jones, huh?
Yeah, and I think you would as well for Kenny Pickett in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, no one cares.
All right, what's next? Imagine Saquon Barkley being franchise tag for a second year in a row.
That's probably what will happen.
You know what is? I am over that running back. Do you remember when they were like the whole media was trying to lobby to get the NFLPA to try to change the running back shit midstream?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what? They're just capitalizing on news cycles. Nobody really gives a fuck. Saquon going to get tagged again. He's going to make a lot of money, but he ain't going to get the long term. And he better not do what Le'Veon. I saw Le'Veon Bell put up a tweet that was like, team contacted me.
For real?
Yeah.
Recently?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Like Le'Veon's like, hey, man, I'm going to practice squad this bitch up. All right. Is there anything else? Is that it?
No.
Is that all? Oh, don't forget.
Oh, wait, no, there is. There's one more.
Oh.
Yeah, this is the Justin Fields. So yeah, DJ Moore is still going to bat for Justin Fields.
Fucking had a great year.
Did he? Who, DJ or oh yeah,
DJ
okay,
did.
Yeah.
DJ had a great year, and he should say these things. I do want to shout out a lot of people that last week when we put out this is we did sell some merchandise. I think we sold like 3 t-shirts and a coffee mug this past week. So if you could just put those visuals up, I'm not a salesman. I've learned this. I fucking am not a salesman, but there is some merchandise at CarolinaCatChronicles.com, from the C3 Panthers Podcast t-shirt to the C3 Panthers Podcast mug, which the mug is dope as fuck. I ain't gonna lie. The mug is the best buy in my, like, I love to drink coffee. We also got the Shut the Hell Up and the You Make Me Fucking Sick, plus some old throwbacks too out there. So you guys continue to support the C3 Panthers Podcast when it comes to the C3 Superfan, $1.99 a month. You know, small things you can do are smash the thumbs up button, subscribe. Really, even cooler would be to share the link, like, on your social media. Like that goes a long way. Like, while the likes and subscribes help us in the algorithm, our community is really an organically built one. Like, if you look at our viewer numbers, there's a high return rate of people watching it. Yeah. So it's not like the algorithm is bringing us to viewers as much as viewers are finding us and staying with us. So if you share this with fans that you know, Carolina Panther fans, it tends to lead towards long-term growth. So that small thing, drop it on Reddit, drop it on Facebook, drop it on Twitter, tell a friend about it. Those types of things are a real big help for us. Tim Estes says, great t-shirt and fast shipping. That's awesome. I'm glad you guys are happy. CPG, yes, you have been here for years, Tony. I've been here for years too. Think about this. This is our 11th year. Crazy. Can we ice some fools up and get out of here?
We sure can.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
All right, this is our homage to Steve Smith, who, by the way, congratulations on hitting 100,000 subs. Steve Smith and the Cut to It podcast. You know what? I just got to work harder to get these guys on right now. Got 3 kids, job, all of this. I need to pursue some of these leads. We need you, Steve Smith, on the podcast, bro. But congratulations to you and your 100,000 followers. But know this, the longest running segment on the longest running Panthers podcast is an homage to you, my friend, where we tell someone to ice up, toughen up, to get it together. And often we tell more than one person. Who you got for me, Cody?
So I only have one tonight.
Oh, easy peasy.
It's a fun one. Listen, fireworks are dangerous.
Oh, God.
Fireworks are dangerous, and
I hope this is the one where everybody blows up that I've seen for years.
No, I don't think it's that one. But I mean, listen, especially if you come from mainland China, fireworks, that's the birthplace of fireworks.
They were fucking experts.
Oh, dude, they are. But apparently, not everyone is experts in dealing with fireworks. Oh, he's got burn marks all over him.
He wrapped it around to bad timing, bro.
He wrapped it around his body. What are you doing?
At the worst possible time, though.
And it lit off all of them. How stupid, dude. Yeah, so after all those burns and second-degree burns on your neck, yeah, you're going to need to ice up, son.
Yeah, you are. CK, you got anything for us tonight?
No, let's see what you got.
CK is the laziest ice upper.
I know. CK is like, man, who needs that?
It's like, I'm starving.
Yeah,
Iced up, no carbs is what CK is saying.
Exactly.
All right, so here we go. We got the first one is this is
Oh, he lights his head on fire.
Yeah. Oh no, look, they do the we're gonna
What?
light
Oh, how
the
stupid.
candle, like the candle.
Oh,
you know?
you deserve every bad thing.
Watch.
Oh.
All right, so some of these guys wipe it out, right? And they're like, "Oh, look at this." It's this dude who can't get it out.
Oh no.
And then he sucks this guy's dick.
Hey, he pushes his head in his lap.
Oh my God, as he buried his burning head in his burning, yearning crotch.
Dude, how dumb.
So that is my first ice up, which I love. That shit made me laugh. And it's really the crotch part that made it. How about this? Is the links that people go on TikTok to be, or the internet. This guy wants to make roasted garlic potatoes and shrimp on an airplane. I'll make sure I mute this. So he goes in. How does he get these batteries on the airplane? My first question. He makes a fucking boiler room in this. And I'm just sorry, dude. Like the efforts that you go through to make mashed potatoes and this on the airplane. Like, I'm sorry. I don't like this. It's fucking lame to me. So ice up to that is that like, oh, I've got to make this. But here is my top ice up pick of the week. What? I clicked on this one. Here we go. Present here first. I like Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
I like him a lot. I ain't gonna lie. He's fat right now. By the way,
yeah, him, Shakur.
he's fat. He's heavy set.
He's been canceled like 5 times.
Oh yeah, because he gets fucked up. That's fine. But here is the ice up pick goes to Ryan Garcia because Shia LaBeouf doesn't like Ryan Garcia because of various reasons. He's a Tank Dell guy. Why won't this blow up?
What, the video?
No, I just wanted to show this tweet. So Shia LaBeouf says he's a Tank Davis guy. He also hates Ryan Garcia, he said. But he says, I don't know the guy. But he said, look, is that he looked like he gave up in this fight. And then he also, there's a rumor spreading around. He says, he said, I heard that he had a woman that had his baby and he divorced her the next day. Like he served her the divorce papers before she even walked out of the fucking hospital. So he doesn't like Shia LaBeouf. I mean, he doesn't like Ryan Garcia. So Ryan Garcia, who has been on fucking bender lately, and my stupid ass thought that Ryan Garcia was going to have a chance against Tank Dell. And nope, that motherfucker got knocked out with a body shot. Ryan Garcia tweets he says, imagine me beating Shia LaBeouf's ass. I'm really going to transform him into pudding. Transformers reference. You don't know me, clown. How the heck you hate me? You can't rap either. You aren't like that. Ryan Garcia, I hate to tell you this, is Tank Tail got you, bro. Just fucking take your lumps and get off the fucking internet, man. You're making yourself look bad. Ice up. Oh, I do have one last one. CK, I'll ask you this. Do you think that the changes to Twitter since Elon Musk have taken over have been overall good or bad?
Good.
I tend to feel that way for most. Like I think that the Twitter platform has evolved in a pretty cool way. But I do have one mega fucking complaint. And that is when you see a cool ass tweet or a cool ass video and we're all we're all there for the replies. And it takes 900 tweets. They're irrelevant. The replies are all ads. The replies are all promoted tweets.
Yeah.
And so the meat of this cool discussion that you are so ready to fucking be in tears about is buried.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Anytime there's a professional athlete that posts anything, you look at them, it's all OnlyFans. Oh, check out my free page. And it's just like pictures of them. Like it's basically just, if you ever want to just scroll through Twitter and just see straight up porn, just go to professional athletes posts and it's like constantly underneath those.
Just want them to, I understand like the replies are a great chance to embed some ads and do some things, but I think you need to sprinkle them more rather than like me. I want to stick around for the comments. I'm abandoning these great discussions before I even get to the fun shit. So
yeah,
that's my ASAP. It's the longest running Panthers podcast. Where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions with you. You guys are the ones that run the show. The reason we continue to do this and not go so long, is because you guys. If it was just us, we would have quit long ago. Call into the show, subscribe, consider supporting the show monetarily or through sharing it. Cody, fun hanging out with you.
Yeah, man.
I know you're hungry.
More sleepy than anything.
Tony, good night to myself. About Cam Newton. Take us out of here, Cody.
C3 Nation. Until next time, keep pounding.